fresh map, get lost now with no extract. Like look, that's all me. Got my number, don't call me. We eating up, that's all beef. You freezing up, that's y'all's team. Cause we don't really lose no more. All about heating up, leaving that cold. You can see beating up, killing that show. I ain't about giving up, no. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you got a problem with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you never gonna stop me. Ayy, sound the alarm. We about to go on. You getting it wrong. Time to go off. Can't hold us back. Truth hurts, you always that. My truth lurks till y'all collapse. Now scoop first, where your homies at? Come my team with me right now. My team's on me right now. But what you mean y'all out? It's time to weed y'all out. Okay, we coming back with a vengeance. Time to go start your engines. What is this thing y'all mention? Time for y'all stop pretending, Nah, y'all can't do that. Where your crew at? Y'all can't do that. Nah, where your crew at? Nah, man, cause now you alone. Yeah, get out of my zone. Man, cause now you alone. Love, get out of my zone. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you got a problem with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you're never gonna stop me. Nah, cause they don't want it with me. Look, you got a problem with me. Look, cause y'all don't want it with me. If you start a fire with me, then you're never gonna stop me.
Welcome to the place where dreams come true, where everything you want can be yours, if and only if you're willing to work for them. You're willing to hurt for them. But most of all, you're willing to be first for them. Ha! Look, I'm going straight to the top. I don't know how I would stop, like it or not. I got some goals that I'm hitting. You hear what I'm spitting, it's hot. Look what I got, whole lot of passion and pain. The road to success is insane. Stay out my lane, cause I'm on a mission. I'm getting what stands in my way. Yeah, I'm a beast, I wouldn't play with me, baby. The way that I'm training is crazy and I do it daily. You wanna talk about drive? I got more drive than Mercedes, I've never been lazy. I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete, well get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'm a work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. Look, I don't want anyone's sympathy. I understand what it's meant for me. I give my focus and energy. If it's meant to be, then it's meant to be. But mentally, I'm undefeated. They hear that and say I'm conceited. Like there's no reason. Like I don't beat them and come back again just to teach them that when you work under pressure, you reach higher measures. They'll try and bring you down, but you cannot let them, and only get better and focus on cheddar. Eye on the prize and you'll become a legend. Like, when I'm in the room, it's a red alert. You wanna compete, well get better first. I got 10 toes in the dirt, push through the hurt just to show them my worth. I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. I never stress. I know what's next. I'm who they test, like we playing chess. But I'm unimpressed, so now let me flex. Ha, yeah, I'm a work through the struggle and hurt, cause I know my worth, and I gotta be first. Ha, yeah, I gotta be first. They don't know what's gotten into me, how'd I turn pain into energy. Through all the struggle and hurt, remember my worth, and that's why I gotta be first.
Look at my shine with the glow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like boss. Time's right, and I know they see us walking in the limelight. Promise you gon' wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high risers, high tide. My crown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way, you wasn't invited. Say you come to play, I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me, then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way, yeah, yeah. Out of the way, yeah, yeah. Out of the way.
Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.
vibe going. Till a player on top, know it. Rooftop, penthouse suite. If you really want it, gotta own it. Fight through it, we was at the lowest. Blood, sweat, tears, the components. Riding all year, now's the moment. We are not friends, we are opponents. Yeah, I'm coming for mine. Yeah, I'm making a play, the game on the line. Yeah, I've been on the grind. Yeah, I jump in the spot, I made it my time. Yeah, look in the sky. Yeah, the stars align, no shade to shine. Can't stop it already. Emotional work and devotion, we put in this time. Look. You won't stop my stride. I'll just break your line. I don't tolerate wasted time. You take us down, keep fighting.
Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, everybody, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series for Brawl Stars, where we are, of course, still in the EU and MENA regions. I am, of course, joined today by Ready, Set, and Teddy, my lovely, adorable two co-casters. How are you doing, Ready?
Feeling great, ready to get on with some awesome matches today.
Dude, it's going to be super exciting. I mean, it's day 5. Things are really heating up, Teddy.
Yeah, definitely. Important day, right? Things are really starting to solidify themselves. The teams that might be qualifying at the end of today, teams that are going to be struggling a lot for the rest of the seasons if they don't get a win. It's a very important day here for the Snapdragon Pro Series.
Yeah, make or break for many of them, like you say, and for some it could definitely be an opportunity to secure themselves into the final stages. But let's take ourselves back a little bit to day 4, because again, that was an immensely exciting day to see how the region was going to shape up. We've now got this big cluster battle over that kind of 4th spot place. Was there anything that really stood out to you in day 4, Ready, that you really enjoyed?
I think we started to see the redemption arc for Craze Clan as they took their first win in this competition, and that was pretty huge because they managed to clutch it over Team Queso. In fact, it was the first match of the day, and a lot of us expected it to go over to Team Queso. They've been a very convincing, a very consistent team in the competition so far, but Craze Clan was able to take a dominant win.
Yeah, Craze Clan needed that win. Like they had to get themselves off of that off the start. They hadn't got anything until that moment in time. So definitely going to have a lot of eyes on them today to see whether they can continue, because they do, Teddy, have to continue on. SK though, on the other side of things, they're doing phenomenally well at the moment in terms of their success.
Oh, definitely. So, I mean, they already have 3 wins under their belt, just like Tribe Gaming as well, and that puts them in a very comfortable situation. And this is kind of where today is going to get to as well, right? I don't think there's any teams that are going to say a proper goodbye to just yet, but they're going to get in that dangerous territory where, you know, they're going to have to rely on other teams losing and particular results if they want to have a chance at qualifying, and nobody wants that.
Yeah, you've got to always be at the top of your game and coming in prepared, and it's getting to that point now where some teams may have played a more favorable matchup in the earlier days. Now they're going to have to start to really pull their socks up when it comes to the more challenging ones, but look at that. I mean, Reply Totem at the moment, absolutely flying ahead. 0 losses in terms of their matchups, and today is a massive day for them, Ready Set, because obviously if they do win their matchup later on, they will secure themselves into the finals.
And that's going to be the 4th match of the day, so that's every reason to stick around until the very end. And their matchup is going to be versus Queso, who we need to see kind of the pace pick up once again. Reply Totem, Tribe Gaming EU, and SK all sitting up top as well. Tribe and SK currently tied for 2nd and 3rd spot, only differential being how many sets have gone the other way, but also can't take away from some of the other teams that have been competing here. Team Queso, Craze Clan, Doxer Lobster, FA Siege, and FA Baguette. We got to see some movement from those bottom 4. Otherwise, their chances of qualifying are going to be right out.
Yeah, Teddy, that is a key area really to keep everyone's eyes on, because ultimately, you know, 1 loss for any of those teams now puts them into a perilous position, whereas 1 win can really lift them up the leaderboard.
Absolutely so, and you know, it's also going to depend a lot on how Tribe and SK do, because if they manage to go 4-1, that's going to remove a lot of space for those 1-3 teams to have a chance at coming back, because they'll need a perfect run if they want to even things out, and considering some of them are facing those 3-1 teams, there's going to be some problems over there for them.
Yeah, absolutely that. So a couple of teams in the background going to be hoping on some unfortunate circumstances for others to be able to give themselves that little bit of a lift. But yeah, for me, Reply Totem are absolutely dominating this region. And Team Queso today, they're going to have a lot of work on their hands to bring down the Titans. They've only dropped 2 sets as well, which is immensely commendable for them. Let's check out the schedule for today. First up is going to be SK Gaming versus Craze Clan. That one, again, very, very important for Craze. They've only got that one win under their belt. They need to get that one, and it's not going to be easy because SK Gaming are ruthless, as we know. Tribe Gaming after that versus FA Baguette as match number 2. After that, we got Dogster Lobster versus FA Siege. And to wrap up the day, Team Kesso versus Reply Totem. Ready? Out of those matchups, I mean, obviously, we're going to have our eyes on Reply Totem, but what else do you think is going to be a key point of movement?
I feel like it's also going to be interesting to take a look at match 3 because Dogster Lobster and FA Siege are teams that we saw come into this competition as sort of underdogs. Dogster Lobster really impressed us, taking a win over Tribe Gaming day 1. FA Siege have had their fair share of wins too, taking a single win themselves, but they have had some actually great performance outside of Snapdragon, but they seem to have stumbled and lost their way along the way, so hopefully they have just tripped and they get to pick themselves up pretty quickly.
And Teddy, anything for you there that stands out as well, aside from, of course, the big one to finalize the day out?
Yeah, definitely so. I think even the 2 first matches are very important because SK and Tribe, both 3-1 teams, facing Craze and Baguette, both 1-3 teams. That could really change things around in the bracket. It would be really nice for those 1-3 teams if they are able to, cause an upset there. It's going to give some more wiggle room because once the team gets to 4 wins, I mean, if you already have 4 losses at the end of today, you're not going to be able to catch up to them. So you'll know that at best you'll have like 1 spot available and so many teams fighting for it. So very important day for like how this bracket is going to be evolving for the rest of the season.
That is a very valid point. And, I want to bring things back to that Reply Totem Team Kesso game ready because that is a huge one. If Reply Totem lock themselves into the finals, they'd be the first team to do so. Team Kesso have had some good promise. I mean, they're in a 2-2 win to loss. In regards to their performance, do you think that Team Kesso are now starting to bring their pace up? They've had some recent losses, but they are a team that we know are fully capable of an upset.
It's true. I mean, we've seen lots of consistency from this team, but I'm not really sure how they've been performing lately, especially in this series. They went down to Craze, who, yeah, I mean, they did a lot better than they did previously. A win is always better than a loss. A 3-0 is fantastic, but I think we still kind of saw Craze doing the same old thing that they're used to, only taking some baby steps in the right direction, in more adventurous directions when it came to drafting different brawlers, going for some new comps as well. I'm not really sure about this one. It'll be a little bit mysterious, but if Team Kesso lose this one, then they're going to be tied for that number 4 spot because either FA Siege or Dogster Lobster have to take a win in that matchup, and they'll be tied for a 3-2 record, or 2-3.
Yeah, well, I mean, Reply Totem, we've got some stats coming on the screen right now. I mean, this is like quite a phenomenal performance. I mean, this is like against the average for the region, so definitely actually somewhat behind a little bit in terms of damage output actually there, Teddy, to be completely honest. But talk us through it. What are your thoughts?
I think there are 2 key reasons for that. First of all, when you have very short and quick matches that you're winning, you're not going to have a lot of time to do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Because if your Brawl Ball game lasts for 45 seconds, you're not going to do nearly as much damage as if you go for the full 2.5 minutes or more with overtime. So I think that it's part of that, but I think a specific point as well, very proper to Reply Totem in this region, is how efficient they are at using, very little kills to get a lot of value. And that's an important thing of Brawl Stars. Getting kills is nice, but depending where or when you get those kills, they're going to be much more impactful, and you can actually convert them into realizing the objective and therefore winning games.
Yeah, keeping that pressure on. It's one of those things in competitive where no team realistically wants to go down, especially if there's an objective at hand to be able to keep in terms of control or damage for. So, yeah, I think it's really, really valid points. Reply Totem are the fiercest of teams for me right now in this region. So statistically, I mean, despite it being pretty neck and neck with a lot of the kind of more average stats, I think you raise a really, really good point there. And Ready, Set, are you kind of surprised to see those figures?
Only a little bit. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if Reply Totem had fewer kills than the entire region because, as Teddy said, they're great at generating value on very little stats because the thing is that Reply Totem, they're able to capitalize on what's at the core of this game is positioning, and getting kills is a great way to get positioning. You have an entire lane that's opened up, you fight a 3v2 instead of a 3v3, and your enemies are going to start backing up, so you get that optimal positioning, and a lot of these modes are based on control of certain areas on the map, and simply being able to walk there, move your character there. So I think that this is still pretty consistent from Reply Totem. If you didn't know the story, if you hadn't watched their games, you wouldn't be able to tell that story, though.
Yeah. Absolutely that. Again, if you are just joining the stream, welcome, first and foremost. But a huge day for Reply Totem. They've got to nail it. But, I mean, it would be fair to say that I think they can do it, considering they haven't lost a single matchup yet. Definitely looking by far one of the fiercer of teams, and did qualify as well over the weekend for the upcoming BSC monthly finals. So congrats to them. Keen to see how they fare, as they did win the last one as well. So it does seem like everything is going Reply Totem's way at the moment. Of course, though, many matchups that can cause a big knock-on effect throughout our leaderboards, and you know, they're one of the kind of like exceptions, I think, of a team that's not really going to necessarily encounter much, you know, from any of those other results coming through. I think they're going to be pretty much set. As long as they can, you know, just get one single win now, they're in a really good place. But of course, you know, let's get into our first matchup of the day. We've got SK Gaming versus Craze Clan coming up very shortly. Ready, set, just talk us through a little bit about your thoughts on this matchup.
Well, first of all, we saw Craze actually have sort of a revival, especially in the last match day. They've also qualified for the monthly finals in BSC, so they're looking pretty good right now, at least in the top 8 here in EU. And I would say, given some of the performance that we saw earlier in this series, we might have started to question that, right? They had a complete 3-0 record, and their main chance to take that back would have been versus FA Baguette, but they missed that chance, unfortunately. To take their first win versus Team Queso is a great way to make a statement, but it's also indicative of the inner workings of their team as well. I just hope that they're able to continue that momentum, because it's going to be really tough to do that versus SK.
Yeah, and speaking of SK, they are ruthless, absolutely ruthless, and as you rightly say, Craze Clan have got to do and continue their momentum forwards. If you're unfamiliar with SK Gaming, I don't know where you've been, but here is their roster. There you have it. Pedro, Guajaro, iChaos, Guille, Semantic. Pedro's not going to be playing today, I think it's fair to say. He's going to be behind the laptop, giving all the stats and all the insights of the draft to his teammates. But again, you know, Teddy, Chaos, Guille, Semantic, they go back a long way in Brawl esports.
Oh, definitely so. I mean, they've been competing pretty much since the first days of the competitive scene. Extremely experienced players all around, very versatile players too, cracked mechanically from a strategic standpoint as well, just very good, very wide brawler pool as well. The amount of brawlers that those guys play at the best level is very impressive, and gives Pedro a lot of room as well to just come up with some really good comps.
It does help, doesn't it, Ready, to have that kind of like support in the background for a team, and just to kind of have as much of an insight as to what you're going up against. You know, do you think that it's a disadvantage to a team like Craze Clan that actually were on social media just 2 days ago advertising for looking for a new coach?
The first thing that was on my mind is that Craze at the moment is looking for a coach. It's an asset that SK has that Craze simply lacks. But we can't forget that Craze Clan are famous for having good drafts in the beginning of the season. It's been a running theme about how we expected that from them, and they were great at getting the drafts that would have been good like a month ago. And now they got to start advancing forward. Hopefully they're able to tap into the same sort of mindset that was able to get them to their position in which they entered the Snapdragon Pro Series. Now, though, it's not looking so amazing. We'll see if a coach can elevate that, but I kind of believe in the players to make that one happen.
Well, we posed the question to SK Gaming as to how they were feeling about their matchup today. Let's take a look at what they said.
Like always, Craze Clan this year was a tier 1 team, I would say. They improved a lot about comms, strategy and that things, and I think right now this year they are improving so well. They surprised to all the EMEA teams, I would say, because the last year was going to be a hard match. I would say a loss. I hope we won again.
Looking confident, looking pretty confident, but to be fair, Teddy, when has there ever been a time when SK have not been confident?
Not very often, no. I mean, you know, it's been one of their main advantages, and sometimes a bit of a setback as well. But really, I mean, SK, they've got to be confident, right? With their track record this year, even those individual players over the last couple of years, I would be confident too if I won as much as they have. And I mean, seeing how much Craze has struggled so far in this season, I think it's pretty fair for them to be confident. Although Craze have started to, you know, get their stuff back together a little bit more, as in day 4, they did get that first win, and it was a convincing one as well.
I'm with you. I mean, Craze had a phenomenal performance throughout Split 1. Got a bit unlucky in the Open Finals split, from Split 1, to be fair. And then they had a fantastic performance in Open Finals 2 and made their way through to the Challenge stage. But kind of since then, it has taken a little bit of a backseat. It is a big day for them. They need this win. If you're unfamiliar with their roster, let's check it out. Now Irama and Meow, and as we were saying, they are advertising for a coach, so maybe if you want to hop on Twitter, it's over on Rama's channel, maybe you want to put yourself forwards for that, and maybe we'll get a full select very shortly on that overlay. Who knows? Who knows? But ready set, this is a team which we've seen great promise from in the past. They have had commendable performances. Every now and again, though, they have looked a little bit shaky recently. Do you think that they've got it within themselves today to go all the way?
What we got to see from these guys is good mechanics, because we've seen them be a very, very solid team in the past. Even SK said it, that these guys are a tier 1 team. They just simply haven't been performing lately, and we saw them pick it up in the last week. So I'd say things are looking pretty good for them. We got to see them continue to get some of the biggest duos in the sport right now, not just getting Colonel Ruffs and Gene on lock, but they also got to, you know, make themselves able to pick up like a Byron and an Ashe, some of the things that can totally sweep an enemy team now, but couldn't necessarily have a month ago.
Ashe, Teddy, that's a lot of NA vibes for me. No, but Craze kind of have had a big win recently, haven't they? You know, that win against Team Keso, who is a team which are faring really much in the middle at the moment when it turns to their performances at the moment. You know, do you think that that's going to be something that they can bring into this kind of draft? Is that shaping up how you'd expect it to be?
Yeah, well, so far, I mean, Carl Ban is pretty much self-explanatory at this point. Penny, very, very strong at the moment. Gene on Flaring Phoenix, wildly popular as well. I do like the B, the Squeak, and the Pam on the side of Craze. Two pretty standard stuff, but one of the aspects I think that, you know, Craze can learn from SK can be that confidence, because, you know, Craze, they're not the most confident team, and getting a bit of a winning streak as well would really help them out.
Yeah, I've got a question that's straight off the bat. The Eve ban by SK, I mean, we've been speaking a lot on the desk recently about how Eve's kind of dropped off pretty substantially. I mean, you know, we kind of question now when we see her a lot. So I'm kind of surprised to see that particular ban from SK, if I'm honest. But in terms of the draft, I mean, Griff coming in as well for SK, these are some interesting ideas ready. So what are your thoughts?
It is really, really weird to see an Eve ban. She does have relatively good range, and over the course of a game, she can get a super or two, and it looks like SK simply don't want to potentially lose mid, but it does seem like in the end game, Crazy Clan's going to have a much better time at mid. Griff is going to be the final pickup from SK, which might not make a whole lot of sense if you're not familiar with his gadget. He gets free wall breaks with those piggy banks, and he's probably going to be using them for 2 rounds. SK, they do have 3 with him, so they can be cautious, and it's more likely that Gene will be playing mid, and Penny's going to try and lock things down close range. We'll hop into the game, though. We will see on the right side, Chaos on the Penny, getting things at long range. Also on the left side, Guille, he has his gadget ready to go, and he's going to be breaking open this single thing of just a couple of obstacles. I'm not really sure how much value that's going to present to these guys, though SK don't have to worry about anyone getting in this tricky position, and Semantic will have an easier time pulling them if things get closed in.
Yeah, it seems like there isn't much Flaring Phoenix, and rather out in the open for this opening map. It is a knockout, though, and so far no huge opportunities just yet, but Semantic does have his pool. If you could find a connection, that could really turn things around in favor of SK, and it's going to be a miss, actually. Good jukes from Meow, and that's quite a bit of lost value. An opportunity here for Craze to maybe take the first round.
Well, let's see if they're able to capitalize on it. Guille is going to get a huge super, so much value, and we won't see those Vengeful Spirits make contact, but it is a 2v3, 2v2, 1v1. Now he is going to be able to connect a whole lot of damage, and the poison is going to knock Guille out. Very well done here by Craze Clan. Really keeping their composure under pressure as well. Guille is going to explode this wall as well. I'm not really sure how much value that's going to get for them. Potentially, they expect CrazeClan to push in a lot, and Guille is simply going to make sure that Semantic and he can back out effectively, because if you don't break open these walls, then your rollout is very, very predictable. You're going to have to go around the right side. In the case of CrazeClan, it's a left side. Semantic, though, has a super, so does Guille. They have some good control locked down, but if CrazeClan stay at range, that might be completely stymied.
Yeah, Semantic has pulled again. Let's see if this time around he's going to be able to find a connection, and he certainly will. Now he goes down, and that's a big pickup, the one that SK needed in the previous round, but we're not quite able to pick up. Mine's getting diffused quite easily by SK, as there isn't really too much pressure Craze can put onto that mid positioning. Rama is next to Fall. Meow is just going to be sitting in the gas and pushing things here to a third round.
Well done so far. Guille, no more gadgets left, but he doesn't really need them. Things are seriously opened up. I didn't think that out in the open could get more open, but when you have wall break, you can make anything happen, and you can make that map bend to your will. Guille is going to hang on to the super for a little bit longer. It's going to be great for when enemies are backed up versus walls. That's when you can get the maximum value off of Griff. Semantic also out of a super. In fact, he's going to be forced to back up as well, not just from the control from Meow, but also from Naui at mid. And he's going to use that super at long range to try and get Ram. A huge pull on the right side. Down goes Meow. And now we see the turret come up. But SK are on such low health. Got to see good control and good healing from SK if they plan to take down CrazeClan. Another huge pull. And this might be the end of the line for Craze.
Man, the fact that everyone was below 1000 HP on the side of SK, but Craze just didn't have the firepower, the opportunities to pick up those kills. That's a big first game here from SK. Honestly, Craze did not look half bad, but again, you know, I feel like the round that they won was probably because Semantic whipped that pull. If he was able to connect it, I mean, it would have been a 2v3 and probably wouldn't even have had to go to a third round. So I think this next game is gonna matter a lot, you know, how good those pulls are from Semantic. If he can hit them, it's a free round. If he doesn't, it might be a free round for Craze.
We've seen tremendous value so far from Semantic's pulls, and we're gonna have to see CrazeClan seriously try and deny them. Already, we see Griff. Well, actually, where do we see Griff? I don't really see a whole lot of him. He's all the way on the back lines, though we do see Meow get pulled back, so Semantic isn't able to capitalize on it. Gets taken down by the super, but it's a trade. So goes Meow. And Naui and Rama are going to try and lock this down, too. Good value off of the salty barrel there from iChaos, and that's going to be another kill. It's just Rama, and he's probably going to make a mad dash for this poison, trying to deny super to the enemy team. Guille won't be able to get too much value off of him, neither will iChaos. This is a done deal. SK will win the first round. They don't have supers, though, but they didn't need them in order to win the first round anyway.
Yeah, and again, Semantic is going to be a shot or two off from his next super, and that is just very threatening, as those pools have been consistently bringing so much value, even though it was a trade last time around. Still enough to secure the round. Let's see, as we get a Penny Mortar plays down as well. He has a super. If Crazy decides to be a bit over-aggressive, can punish them with that. Walls getting removed with the bow mines. He opening up the left side as well. A nice connection with the super onto Semantic. He's going to be low, and surely he falls. 2v3 now in favor of Craze.
Guille has the super, and so does Naui, but that's a piercing shot from Guille, so it's going to be able to deal some substantial damage to Naui and his turret if he throws it down. It's a 2v3, but SK has adapted accordingly. Good damage versus Rama and Naui, but they are backed up a whole lot. Now going to make another push in, trying to pinch Guille here. iChaos also getting pinched pretty hard, and yeah, he's going to go into the poison by the looks of things, or at least try and get a super, though he's going to be totally outranged. Well done here by CrazeClan. It almost looks like CrazeClan kind of swapped roles with SK. This was some very SK gameplay from CrazeClan so far, but probably the most defining factor of how SK has been playing this is they're not afraid to be on low health. They're not afraid to keep shooting while on low health. They don't need to heal up. CrazeClan feels way more confident when they're high on health, and they try to stay out of range of attacks. We'll see, though. Naui spearheads a charge in here. Doesn't want to get too aggressive, doesn't want to feed Semantic a super, because that's been the most troubling factor in this matchup so far.
Yeah, I mean, huge stuff is like, you know, that the 3 supers that Craze were able to carry over from round 2 to 3, and SK having none. They do have a gene pool available now, but that's still so little. Semantic gets stunned as well. This could potentially be the game here for Craze as he gets taken out. It will be a trade, but he didn't get to use that pool, and that is going to be a shame for SK. Craze in a decent position. Barama overextends, and Ikeos is absolutely there to punish him. Now we should get cleared up, and it's going to be all SK as they'll take the round, the game, and the set.
But we saw some signs of life from Craze. Very well done. I mean, that's the thing with Knockout is you got 3 rounds, so you get to get a little taste of everything. But in the end, it was SK to take those 2-1 victories in each set. Very well done by Craze on the damage, I gotta say. 84k compared to SK with 65. And see, that's kind of what we saw is Craze. They played not necessarily timid, but very, very careful. Tried to stay on high health as much as they could. In SK, they weren't afraid to take some damage. They weren't afraid to be on low health while also hanging on by a thread. They got wins that way, right? As long as you're not taken down, you're fulfilling the objective of the mode.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, it was the positioning that SK had for the most part as well. Every time they were taking damage, look at the healing, 55,000. That's double the amount of Craze. Craze had a PAM. No healers whatsoever for SK. It just shows how they're able to utilize the map to full back, heal back up, come back into the mix. Whereas Craze, very often, I mean, you know, if SK was getting good damage, they were securing that kill, and that makes a difference.
I've got to chime in as well with regards to the fact that Craze allowed that healing to take place. They seem to be so far back a lot of the time, and against a team like SK, they are definitely able to stand the heat when it comes to aggression, but you also need to put them under that kind of pressure earlier on. I think that Craze really needs to come into this next set a bit more refreshed to that idea. I just felt that they were just leaving too many doors open almost ready to just allow SK to play their game, and SK is not a team that you want to do that to. If you let them play how they want to play, it's only going to go one way.
That's the thing is that SK's gameplay is in large way mental. They have their fourth, and their fourth teaches them how to get in the heads of the enemy. And here are the stats, and you're statistically likely to win here. And all you can do as the opposing team is try and guess as to what strategy they want you to play. And by the looks of things, SK was really trying to bring things in, staying on low health purposely to try and bait in some of the damage as well. But by the looks of things, they were trying to get the enemy to play timid and think that this is a bait. And it worked beautifully because they stayed alive the entire time. They got so much healing, they maintained the pressure, and they won in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's the perfect start so far, but it is still early days, Teddy. I mean, there's plenty of time for Craze to make that kind of comeback. What do you think they're going to have to do so, though? That's the question, because we have had a few question marks around them in the past. I mean, they have come off the back of that win, but you know, they would prefer to have got that first set in the pocket, I think it's fair to say. Are they a team that are going to be able to perform as well as a team like SK when they are behind?
I'm not sure. I think one of the main problems here as well is that Craze were playing a little bit too respectful almost against SK, exactly. You know, scared and not capitalizing. They were getting players low HP, but then not committing, not actually going for the kill. And, you know, if you're playing the long game like that against a team like SK, they're going to win it so much more consistently than you are because they thrive out of that. And you need to, you can't respect them that much. Like, obviously, you need to respect the fact that, you know, SK is an amazing team, but you can't play so scared because otherwise you're not going to be getting those kills. And the kills is really what you need to get in Knockout.
Yeah, and SK know that, you know, for Craze in the position that they're in, they are more susceptible to being, you know, placed under immense pressure. Bans in now. Max, Ruffs, and Gene banned on the side of SK Gaming. Janet, Bonnie, and Surge on the side of Craze Clan. I really like the Craze Clan bans here. Ready, set, pick coming in from SK is the first pick of Stu, which, again, we were just saying that we needed to see more aggression from Craze. Well, that could be a great way for SK to deflate that very idea.
And Stu is a little bit trickier to counter now. He's great versus some brawlers like Gene, who obviously is going to be banned out here, but he gets great mobility and he can break through some of the key walls, some of the key objectives on the map, some of the key areas that you want to control, especially ones that are protected by bushes. So I think this is a good shout by SK, though we will see the response already from Craze. And seeing Spike a little earlier in the draft sometimes is a red flag because this is a very comfortable brawler to play. Spike, fantastic brawler. Spike front rolls, a great flex pick, and will be great later on in the draft no matter how you play it. But it does show that this is a very safe pick from Craze Clan and perhaps a little bit of uncertainty. So while it's not a bad brawler, it does maybe make me question what Craze is going to go for down the line, and also how is SK going to deal with this. We do see the Carl though, and that's a little bit more comforting though. Seeing as SK had first pick and they didn't ban out Carl, they instead went to go for the Stu instead of the Carl. I feel like they kind of want to play into the Carl and they don't really mind it too much, but they gotta mind the 90% win rate that we've seen so far.
Definitely. So, I mean, Carl is an absolute threat right now, and I think that if Craze didn't pick it up with the spike, they would have been done for.
Yeah.
Because that would just have been unwinnable on their side. I still think that there's some weaknesses, and you know, it's one of the problems with Spike is he's three-shotable by something like Sandy, and that's just a nightmare matchup. Gil is a good opportunity to shut down that Carl, although you really need to, you know, connect those supers, chain those supers afterwards to keep that value up. Still kind of need a mid pick on both sides, so I'm very curious to see what they're going to bring out, considering, you know, we have the Gene ban. Maybe an 8-bit will do the job.
I think it could be an aggressive brawler from SK, like a Daryl. I mean, they're picking the Gale, they've got the Stu, which could be a speed zone for mid. We saw that a little bit from Zeta. I mean, it would be making sense to pick that Gale and then follow up with a tank, but I like the way that Penny. It's not what I expected. I'm surprised. I mean, that is the mid for sure, and allow the Stu to go on the aggressive. But I'm just kind of surprised that they've gone with that Gale pick. I mean, it can shut down the lanes pretty well, but it felt like it was shaping up to be something a bit more. I like the way that also creates a band out the Surge here, and also picked the Carl, clearly looking to eradicate some knockback. Mr. P. I mean, this is the meta shifting? Really?
It's really weird. I feel like Mr. P is simply to get some consistent porters out there and to give Stu trouble, but if you kind of nitpick and you look through SK's comp, you'll realize that every single one of these brawlers has some pretty good counterplay versus Carl, and they deliberately picked a brawler that could do well versus Carl. You have Penny, who's able to throw down that turret, stun him out of his super, also has the salty barrel that can deal good damage with him in close range. Also, you have Gale, who's able to throw down a Twister and stun him out of that super. Stu can simply chain those supers together and run away for the entire game. The thing you gotta mind is that Carl still can go for a long-range build, he can go for power throw, and he can go for the flaming pickaxe as well. And we will see, actually, this is a bit different of a map than we were expecting, but still, we'll probably see about the same reaction to Carl from SK.
Yeah, it seems like some of the UI during the draft might be incorrect as regard of the maps. That does explain some of the odd picks that it would have been for Hard Rock Mine. This makes a lot more sense. Right now, though, we have Semantic trying to match the aggression that a Carl pick would, and it seems like he's doing a pretty fine job at it. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade in the end. Not the end of the world for either sides. Definitely going to be favoring SK, though, as they do have a pretty nice gem lead early on. Gie has yet to get his turret yet.
Once Gie gets his super, though, it's going to be much better for dealing with Carl, because currently the Carl gameplay is simply going to be sit in the same position and work the long-range matchup and simply outrange iChaos, outrange Semantic, don't give them supers, don't give them any value for the entire game. But once you get that turret down, now he's going to be forced to move out of this position. As you can see, it's a very small area that he's trying to control and that he's focusing down. But Gie can't seem to get this super just yet. These porters are soaking up so much damage. We also see the gadget here from Rama, and Gie is forced to back up all the way. 8 gems so far for Craze Clan, and a dominant lead as they pick up a 9th and only need a few more seconds to get to 10 and start that countdown.
What a turnaround here from Craze. SK starting things off with what I believe was a 4-gem lead. But Craze, they are not gonna let them cancel that countdown unless, of course, there is a kill on Rama, but he's quite far away. iChaos gets shut down, didn't get to use his stun in time either. And this surely is going to be a game here for Craze, a much needed one as well, as this is going to be their first one of the match so far.
This is looking fantastic for Craze so far. I mean, you got to consider, this is SK. This is a fairly indomitable roster, and so far, Craze are giving them a rough time and also doing so well with some unexpected picks. I think Mr. P provided so much value in this last game. The Spike proved to be comfortable. Spike isn't really counterable, and also, as we see, as the draft finishes up, they go for a Mr. P last pick. That's almost unheard of, and I think that it shows that Craze Clan, they do have the confidence. The Spike wasn't really indicative of anything. They just went for a pretty safe pick because they wanted something that was hard to counter for their last one, and that countered out the enemy pretty well. Though so far, Rama's going to be taking a whole lot of damage. The most important thing for Craze Clan is going to be to deny the super to Gie. But so far, some flex play from SK, especially this breakthrough on the left side, which will favor Semantic vastly, is going to get them a whole lot of positioning. Though big moves on the right side from Naui will threaten that. As Craze Clan is about to tie things up on the gem count. Good takedown of Semantic, a 3v2, and Craze Clan gets to tie up on the 4 gem count.
Yeah, so far it does seem like things are a bit more evened out in this one. And I do feel like comp-wise, SK with just slightly better execution than the previous game could definitely take this one. Especially with that Penny versus Mr. P. It's kind of odd to pick a Mr. P into a Penny, in my opinion. Like, it doesn't just really seem like something that should be working. It did in the previous game, but that could have been a fluke from SK as well. 2 gems here that Rama should be able to pick up. He takes a lot of damage. Now he can't fully commit because he knows that Ikeos is just the right-hand side. It's going to give the chance for Craze to build up a little bit of a lead here. 1 gem in their favor now.
It's simply, here's the deal with Mr. P is it's a little bit easy to forget that once upon a time when Mr. P was super, super good in this game, it was because he both has a turret and he's fantastic for anti-turret. And when Penny was still kind of decent, also Jesse, also Pam, anyone with a spawnable that you can throw behind a wall, those brawlers were meta. Mr. P was great at taking him down. So far, though, it's not going to provide any value versus SK Gaming. We have not even seen a super yet, but Guille is going to have this one on lock because he doesn't want to risk Naui getting some ability in and getting on top of him because he has that stun when he throws down his super. Now he might have to go for it. Doesn't look like he's even going to try at all. They're just going to tie things up. 10 to 10 gems, and Guille has backed up for almost nothing. If he decides to throw down his super, it's going to be taken down instantly in just a few hits by Rama. Opts to throw it onto the left side where it's going to be much more difficult. Going to put a lot of pressure on Meow on the left side. Spin back as well. 11 to 11 on the gem count. The clock might run out before this one finishes, but as SK keeps on picking up the gem first, they just got to get that 15th gem to run it home.
Yeah, this is very evened out as Rama is going to aggress, get a 12th gem now for Craze, tie things up once more. Next one does spawn on SK's side, and it's going to be picked up by Craze, meaning that SK, they're going to have to go aggressive here to stop Craze from getting to 14, but they're not able to do so. 14 now on Craze and SK Gaming. They are pushed back. No more time left either. This is going to be Craze Clan picking up the set.
Well done to Craze Clan. I feel like we saw tremendous gameplay when it came to Meow on that left side. We don't see Spike as much in competitive because there's some more niche brawlers that you can go for that give you a great advantage if you play them carefully. But when it came to Meow on the left side, he was not only outranging Semantic on the Stew, but he was getting shots with those curveballs, which pros spend a lot of time practicing. I feel like it might have slipped through the cracks, though, because Spike hasn't been played too much recently.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to respecting the Carl again, you know? Like, again, we see a Carl, again, we see it win. And I really like that SK tend to leave some strong brawler opens with the plan and the intention of countering them, but it wasn't very successful. And still, you know, like, I mean, the Spike was countering the Stew. That was not a very good lane for SK. And yeah, I feel like Gale, in modes like Gem Grab, like, you're not going to be taking any control. Like, sure, you're preventing the Carl from pushing you too much because you'll take him down if he commits, but he doesn't need to commit. And that's kind of the story here as well, that, I mean, it's a good counter, but not if you're not, you know, pushing him and killing him.
I gotta say as well, like, for SK to like lose after having Stu as a first pick, I mean, that says a lot. I fully agree though. SK are a team that do exactly just that, Teddy. They leave ideas that are really strong on the table for someone to go ahead and take. Almost like a bribe, like a brag kind of way of being like, yeah, feel free, we're just going to counter that and do so. But that's what I liked about the Craze draft, actually, was by eradicating some of those potential counters like the Surge, so that they could play Carl and have more maneuverability. Mr. P, we see a lot in LATAM South, so when we saw the map sort of develop as to be a deeper diner, it made more sense, and obviously, you know, can eradicate some of what Penny's able to do, but also not, because Penny's turret can lock onto that portal spawner as well, and it's kind of a bit of give and take. But I gotta say, this is valuable momentum now, ready set for Craze Clan to start to bring things back. But SK, again, as I say every single time they play, when they start to get behind, they get more aggressive, they get more confident in their performance. So that is obviously something that Craze Clan can't forget.
And I think one of the biggest weaknesses that SK faced was not really that much of a fault of their own. They simply got outpicked on the last pick when it came down to Craze Clan. Craze Clan knew that, yeah, this is the time to run Mr. P. We're going to run anti-turret. We're going to shut Penny down. We didn't see that turret go down more than maybe even once the entire time. And we saw even when it did go down, it was placed as far away from Mr. P as possible, so that Samantha could maybe get some value off of it. But Mr. P wasn't falling for the bait. We also saw good value with his super and with the Mr. P gadgets as well to power up his porters as they come out. And also, when it came down to the other lanes, you got to respect it as well. There were Carl counters on the entire enemy team, and they just had to sit there with the counter, not use the abilities, and they proved to be great versus Carl when he actually uses a super, which is a strong point. And that's why Carl is such a defining brawler in the meta right now, because if you decide to counter him, he'll simply not play against you, or he will play a different way. He'll play long range instead of close range.
Yeah, I mean, going into Hot Potato next as well, I think that this is absolutely a map where Carl can continue to thrive. I'd like to see a ban on that side of things, but it's not going to be the case. So surely now, with Craze having the option, considering the SK won the coin toss, they've got to pick, surely, Carl now, Teddy.
Well, it seems like SK are going Colette as the first pick, which, I mean, Colette is pretty decent on Hot Potato. I think it's a fair first pick.
But against Carl?
Yeah, again, you know, like, do you want to really leave the Carl open? I mean, they'll get Penny on the side of Craze as their first pick. I wouldn't be shocked to see a Carl showing up, and sure, it might not be the most, you know, Carl-defined map, but still, it's Carl, and he's just ridiculously good everywhere.
It's weird because Colette, at a point on this map, was very, very meta. The problem is that she gets outranged by a lot of stuff. And I feel like she gets outranged by Carl. And we also see Craze Clan, they don't go for the Carl, but they go for the Carl counter. And maybe they'll plan to use the Surge in close range around one of the sides, but he can't teleport through those obstacles anymore. He would have been great with that super, but now it's simply complicated. I don't really know how much they're going to get value off of this, but they do run speed gear, and they run him straight up mid, similar to how an Ems would. They can get a pretty fast super. He does have that shield that allows him to charge in, soak up some damage, and get a first level pretty quickly. Only needs to hit 3 shots. We'll see the spike, actually, from SK, which is going to soak up those shots as Surge goes up mid. The thing is that Surge gets countered really, really hard by anything, so to pick him this early into the draft when there's not even a Carl on the field not only shows how meta Carl is, but also shows that this is going to be a struggle for Craze.
But I kind of like this because it's exactly what we were saying earlier, Teddy, about SK being a team that leave options open and just kind of start to predict and plan their counters. That Surge coming in so early, that could be a curveball though. No pun intended to the spike that is on the side of SK alongside that final pick with the ball. But now we need to see a heavy, counter to it coming from Craze Clan. I mean, that spike would have been an ideal one, I think it's fair to say, but there are still options. I wouldn't even be opposed to a B here in mid myself. I think that could be a way forwards.
I think one of the smart things about this draft from SK is they banned Daryl, first of all. They know that Ems is banned by Craze, and now they have 2 tank counters and a tank on their side, leaving not that many options. And yeah, that forces something a little clunky like a Buzz, and we've seen Buzz, making some appearances in the meta recently. It's better than it used to be, but it's still like kind of 50-50 to be honest.
And Buzz is a weird one because he can get that super for free, and that used to mean a whole lot before green button meta has proven to be this strong, especially when you have stuns on lock with your gadget. Now, when it comes to Bull, I mean, there are a couple of builds that they could go for with him, but the more important thing is that he would have countered out Carl because he does have a super that can stun and he can chain it together very, very fast. Buzz is also one of those brawlers that's going to get countered out by the enemy because, as you said, tank counters. And when it comes to Buzz versus Bull, he can't really pump out the damage as fast as Bull, so this is going to be a bit of an unfair matchup. We'll see now we go for something completely different. Meow is going to get that first level very fast, though, so we'll see if Craze Clan can generate some value off of that.
Yeah, good positioning for Craze so far. It's going to be Ikeos going back to the mid now. Mortar already plays down, and that is going to limit some of the possibilities for SK. Ikeos was a nice pickup in the mid. Barrel taken out of the way. I think there was a miss super from Ikeos, but they do get the kill in the mid. Remove the mortar as well, and it seems like things are evening out. If not, a slight advantage positioning-wise in favor of SK.
Now he's going to sneak up the left side. Meanwhile, Semantic does the exact same thing mirrored on the top side. It is going to open up some opportunities for Ikeos to pump out some damage. Now he, though, is getting good dodges versus the curveball, not taking too much damage. Going to get a kill along the way onto Ikeos, and Semantic is going to try and sneak up the left side. Meow is going to carefully guard him. Meanwhile, Naui also staying at mid. iChaos is going to provide some inner pressure. Guille taken down. Good kill from Semantic, and he will survive. And now it's a 3v1 push in for iChaos, but he gets grappled by Naui just at the end of his range before he can do anything. And this is seriously back and forth. Crazy Clan has taken most of the damage, but they're playing so well. Especially the Buzz play has been remarkable because it does get countered out so hard by SK.
Yeah, iChaos nearly takes down Rama. Rama just barely gonna be surviving. Now he has a pull now as well. Gonna get the connection onto Guille, but that should be a trade. Takes a while though. Eventually iChaos does pick it up. He gets taken out by Rama. And Meow is pushing forwards to get some more damage on safe. And 8% lead still in favor of SK, but that's very temporary. However, only 30 seconds left in this game, and Crazy will need to find that damage eventually here.
Well, let's see if Semantic can do the same thing as last time on the left side. He was able to get a kill on Meow, but Meow has this super ready to go once again. He's ready to give it another shot. iChaos gets taken down. It's a 3v2. Guille also holding Naui at range. We got to see some movement here. Rama going to throw down an aggressive super. Big value on the piercing damage from Rama. He's looking to get a little bit more. Semantic rushing forward. Got to see defense, but there's not anything coming in, and Crazy Clan wails on this save. That's the last bit of damage as the clock stops at 2 seconds, and Crazy Clan have taken yet another win, and one more going their way. If the momentum keeps going this way, it'll be a 2-1 match.
Yeah, things are looking pretty bright on the horizon here for Craze, and that was a good game from them. I was a little scared of the Buzz because, you know, even though it is a brawler that can do fairly well in those sort of situations, it is facing 2 tank counters, which is always a bit threatening when you're that sort of tank assassin sort of brawler. Semantic low HP. I'm curious to see what kind of play they plan on having on the left-hand side, and Semantic is going to win it. Takes him down. Rama low HP in the mid as well. Shouldn't be far off from his mortar either, but so far seems like a little bit more value going the way of SK, although positioning-wise it's very evened out.
And this is also going to force Guille and iChaos to stay far apart from each other. Now he is going to get stunned here. He's not going to get taken down. Semantic's going to try and do it in long range. Meanwhile, at mid, as now he gets taken down, iChaos has his gadget active. He's going to get one shot. Maybe that's about it. Another tap onto Meow, but it's not enough to take him down. 61 health left for Meow, and he gets to take the optimal matchup on the right side, but iChaos fires away, getting 10% off on that save. Rama helping take him down, and Semantic on the right side, once again, is going to try and stir up some trouble. As long as he can hold the back line for SK here, that's going to make it a lot easier for iChaos to run up mid once again. Speed gear active. He can charge up another super and get some free piercing damage on that safe. Another 10%. Missed pull there by now. He's going to try it again. It doesn't connect once again. It was very, very close, but it's not going to work. And Guille throws down a super on the right to play control of. Does get taken down mid-dash, and Crazy Clan have taken some serious damage so far, but it's only been trickling damage from SK, and as long as they're able to prevent Semantic from getting in, they might be able to wail on this safe once again versus SK, but the clock is below 50 seconds, and it's going to be a real challenge.
Yeah, iChaos has yet another super, and he goes on to now. He takes him down. Semantic rolls onto the safe. Decent bit of damage here now. Coming down onto Crazy Clan safe. Now with the jump in, though, clears up iChaos. This is a big opportunity for Crazy to try to match that damage, but they don't have the biggest damage burst unless now he can actually like grapple onto that safe and really be up close. It's going to be an 18% difference now in favor of SK still. Meow really powered up, gets reset on his heal. That buys some time for SK. As super does connect, but not the kill just yet. Ooh. There is a chance here to catch up, especially with that mortar on safe as well. Semantic trying his best to clear things up, but it is looking pretty good for SK. Can they catch up? I don't think so. SK are going to be taking that game, and now we're back to being all tied up.
It's 1-1, 1-1. Whoever takes this set takes the advantage of the match so far and finds himself in a comfortable position. You win this set, you win a single game in the next one, and then you're at match point. And things have been so close so far, but SK's managing to turn the tide back in their favor. We're going to see if they can do the same thing once again. But really, the main factor in this pop-off in game number 1 for Crazy Clan was Naui. He was doing so well. He was getting kills on pulls that he simply shouldn't have. And we're going to see iChaos did this matchup at mid to start things off. Now he has to rotate backwards. It's going to be a tough matchup versus Semantic over here, but he's going to try and get iChaos. It looks like he needs visibility. There's the kill, but he's on very low health. It's going to be hard to keep Semantic back without a little assistance. Meanwhile, Guille has been doing way, way better than he did in game number 1. Like you said, Teddy, SK, they simply get stronger and more confident the more pressure you apply.
Yeah, so far, no opportunities to get damage on save for Craze just yet. We did see that they're able to get those turnarounds, but the previous game they weren't quite able to do so. Super plays down by Guille, gonna block off some of the movement possibilities, but doesn't really spot anyone there either. As Meow falls to Semantic, a second gadget already used by Semantic, and he gets cleared up before he can connect to the safe. Now he has super, but gets taken out before he gets a chance of using it. Good value of that super from iChaos. Might even chain it here as he's a shot away and gets it again. Wow, the value he found, despite going down, gets 2 players on 1 shot. And an opportunity for Semantic to keep dealing some extra damage, although Crazer trying to catch up here with a player on the safe on the bottom. Eventually, though, Naui goes down, and it's still a 38% lead in favor of SK.
It's proving very difficult for Craze Clan to defend versus Semantic right now because they can't allow him to get that super. If he deals any damage, then he's going to be getting that super, no question about it. When he takes damage, he gets that super. As we saw, a single shot from Meow gave him his super, and Semantic simply has to hold this position because the more Meow backs himself into this corner on the left side, the easier it is for Semantic to flank. Here's the stun, and we will see Surge get the damage on him, but he survives just barely. Last bit of damage, now he popping off, getting the kill. More damage coming in from Rafa. Guille has to stay alive, and he has to maintain this position, but he's hardly even the target. The safe needs to take a lot of damage, 30 to 31 so far. If we see a perfect defense from Craze, it might be enough. Meow has to pop off. He's able to get on the right side, but gets taken down, and Semantic is on this safe. More damage coming in from iChaos. It's going to be a photo finish. Rama can't get enough damage on that safe, and now he isn't in range. 14 to 6, an 8% differential, and SK takes set number 3.
Yeah, that's the moment as well, right? Kind of wish he didn't use too many gadgets, because I believe that the Penny on the side of Craze ran out of gadgets. If he had a barrel and could place it down next to the safe, that could have been ridiculous amounts of damage, because everyone went down. But as a Penny, if you just hit your regular shots, that's not that much damage, and you're not going to be competing against a Bull or a Colette super. So unfortunate there for sure. But I mean, yeah, no more barrels are available, no more chances there for Craze, and SK, they're going to take the set and the lead therefore as well.
It's very well done by SK so far. We saw Craze pop off in game number 1, and they came out of the gates swinging with a pretty suboptimal pick. Naui on the Buzz was probably my main focus of the first game. For the next 2 games, it was all Guille on that spike. He did a phenomenal job holding things down, and no matter who was faced against him, was practically unable to dodge out those shots. It was simply too much firepower coming in at once for them to deal with it, and Guille stood his ground the entire game. I don't think ever folded on lane.
I'm really impressed with Craze today, to be honest. I know they're behind now, but if you look at that last game, it was so back and forth. I mean, every shot had to land, especially in a map like Hot Potato, where you really do need to ride off the back of those deaths and kills along the way to be able to push up the map and then retake positioning power. If you look back at Rama's shots, like more often than not, they were always landing and then gradually allowing the team to push up, and that turret as well, playing a really key factor. I'm not a massive fan of Penny first pick here myself, got to be honest, but I'm kind of more convinced now that I've seen Craze Clan utilizing it in the way that they did, Teddy. Honestly, despite SK being in the lead here, I think Craze kind of got a pretty decent chance of being able to bring back a set and maybe take this one all the way.
I think Craze looked pretty good overall in this set. I think that iChaos in the 3rd game like popped off like crazy as well. Like he was dominant in the mid, getting supers that connected on both the safe and players, just instant takedowns, chaining those supers. And I think that is kind of the reason they took that 3rd. Well, as you know, the unfortunate timing at the end where it was just a Penny on safe, and you're not going to be matching anyone's damage in the game pretty much with that brawler, besides maybe Poco. But yeah, it's tough. You know, it's tough for sure. Thing is, if you need, you know, iChaos to pop off to shut you down, I feel like that kind of shows that you've been doing things pretty right until now, because there's very few teams that are going to push, you know, SK to their limits, and individual clutches like that, and you know, a specific individual really popping off, I think is, you know, showing that you're pushing teams to their limits. And right now SK, they were really challenged in this one and really could have lost that set and been behind at this point.
Yeah. genuinely they could have done. I mean, this is now a really tough spot for Craze, really so, because again, they need a win today. They really do. They've only got the 1 to their name so far, and that was day 4 against Team Kesso. This is not the kind of pressurized circumstance that they'd prefer to have this matchup on. So going into the next set, I mean, there's no more time error.
Absolutely not. And I feel like one of the things that Craze have done to prepare for this specific matchup is that they've practiced more towards what's the current meta. What are the things that are really prevalent right now? And as with every match, the conversation's going to come back to Carl. And they didn't draft it, and neither did SK. SK was really inviting them to pick the Carl this time. And when they did pick the Carl, they did well, but it wasn't necessarily a Carl pop-off. Carl just kind of did his thing. It was the more off-meta things, the things that kind of came out of nowhere that sent them to victory. And once again, I think I kind of expected that to happen on the Hot Potato Shooting Star. It's really clear-cut on this map what is good and what isn't, but we have 6 bans possible total, and that leaves some room for some other brawlers to creep in. I have no idea what Craze could be planning for this one. SK, obviously, they got probably 100 spreadsheets dedicated to this map specifically, but in the end, it's going to come down to the draft, and we see the Nanny first pick by SK. Already, things are getting off to a good start for them.
I like this a lot. I gotta say, the Nanny pick here is a good one. It's the first pick. It's quite versatile. It has a lot of ability to counter ideas that then give over to Craze. But I think you're absolutely right, Reddy. Said the way that these two teams are drafting is actually really exciting me at the moment because, again, leaving up dangerous ideas, it means that they're sort of laying traps on both sides, Teddy. The Janet coming in and the Bell locked in by Craze. What are your thoughts on that? Janet is one that we don't tend to even get to see very often because she is so strong.
Yeah, I think Janet is what kind of saves the day here as well, because having that Max banned out and having the Nanny on the side of SK is very clever, because Max is one of the few brawlers that is going to be a threat, because that movement speed is going to make it a nightmare to hit your Nanny shots. Besides that, I mean, it's amazing against sharpshooters, it's amazing against tankier brawlers, so it has a really good matchup, and I feel like Janet has a bit more of a chance to play that range and have that ease of hitting shots as well. Lola, though, I think I like it so far. I mean, it's not every day you see it picked into a Bell, but so far, I mean, I feel like things are fairly even on both sides, and we'll see the Sprout final pick, which can be very strong considering so far we don't really have much destruction available for either side, and Tick is banned.
It's a little concerning to me. Pretty much the counterplay from Craze is simply going to be pick up a Brock or something that can break walls for free, that can kind of compete with Sprout at range, because if the walls stay up, Sprout is going to have an absolute heyday. So that's going to be one of the options. The other option is to go for Grom, which has been seeing an uptick in popularity in this region specifically. But I feel like that's exactly what SK wants. Okay, a Fang final pick. The deal with Fang is that he's going to get stunned out by Nanny Super, and he's also going to have a rough time versus Lola in close range, potentially. If Lola gets targeted, she can make sure that Fang bounces over to her ego and can't get that roundhouse kickoff to stun her as well. But also Lola still into the Bell and into the Janet. Those are piercing shots or shots that simply bounce off of one entity to another, whether that's one teammate to the other or one spawnable such as Lola's ego to the other. I feel like Bell's going to be a great way to deal with Lola, but I still find it a little peculiar why SK deliberately picked this brawler knowing that there was already a Janet and there was already a Bell on the field.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like Lola is getting kind of countered by everyone here. I mean, so far, Blue Star is going to be picked up by Craze, and SK, they're going to push up after that. Got a decent amount of damage on Rama that he had to sacrifice to get to that Blue Star, and that all translates into control now for SK Gaming. The positioning is pretty solid. Gie has a super as well, but I mean, it's going to be challenging for him to get kills with that because, you know, they're all pretty tanky brawlers all around. He does get the connection, but again, Rama is going to survive that. In the meantime, Gie kind of gave up to the left side, not really too utilized or punished by Craze. And with about a minute left on the clock, we have yet to really see any kills.
iChaos on the right side is holding this position, though, despite getting outranged. This is good gameplay so far from SK, especially with these walls. They're able to generate a lot of utility. Semantic, we saw earlier, he threw a hedge on the left side to trap Meow in a tricky situation versus Gie, but Gie wasn't able to outdo the dodges. He wasn't able to predict the dodging pattern of Meow, which shows how slippery he's going to be. But the thing is, he still needs a super, and it's going to be very tough. iChaos in close range takes a risk, gets the kill, but also gets taken down, and Craze Clan still have this Blue Star and a 2-star lead.
Yeah, let's see in the last 30 seconds if SK can make a play. They need a kill onto Rama or 2 kills to turn things around. It's a fast incoming peep, but it does get tanked by the Janet gadget. Meow is low HP, wall is placed down. Interesting positioning. Semantic, yeah, is gonna pick it back up, place it again. No more gadgets for him. Big connecting shot, that's gonna be the kill, and exactly the one they needed. That was the VIP, that was the target that needed to be protected by Craze, and it wasn't. SK Gaming take the game, and this is gonna be match point.
How SK are able to consistently get the crucial kill in the final seconds of the game, because Craze Clan, they know this is the one person who can't die. This is the one person we gotta hang on to because they have the blue star, and even if we lose one guy, we'll still win via the blue star. How SK is able to do it? Kind of a mystery, but Craze Clan have to make sure that they get a firm enough advantage in the early game, lest that's going to happen again. Craze Clan will get that blue star, and they do dictate the pace of the match now, but SK felt very comfortable on this offensive position for the entire game, and that ultimately came down to a last-second kill. Now Craze Clan are seriously feeling the heat, though. An aggressive hedge in is going to be very difficult for Rama to deal with. He's going to get taken down. Blue star goes over to SK's side, but it's not going to mean that they don't stay relatively aggressive. We will see them falling back, and we'll see how Craze Clan is able to perform on the offensive as opposed to the defensive as they have throughout the entire set so far.
Yeah, Semantic has been crucial towards his team's success. Those walls have been very impactful, and I mean the pickup now in this game is massive as it gives the lead over to SK, and this is the difference as well. You know, Craze, whenever they had the lead, they were forced to fall back and play spawn trap for the rest of the game very much. SK, they have the lead, they're still fighting for control, they're still trying to have more presence on the map because they know that if the situation gets tricky, they can fall back, they can go back to you know, their side of the map, and they don't end up getting pinched. A super from Meow, but it's only a 1-for-1 trade, and lead is going to remain on the side of SK Gaming. That was his first super of the set as well.
Well, unfortunate here for Craze Clan, but they only need to come back by a couple of stars. They gotta outdo that blue star. No ties here, but luckily for them, they only gotta get 1 kill on this side. iChaos, Guille, Semantic, all pretty low on health, and Craze have to win this game. Otherwise, it's a victory for SK already. They've been in this position before. Another kill here for iChaos on Rama. And we will see now a push in. Meow getting a stun here. There's the kill, but he gets killed in return. Gotta see the kill into iChaos, but it's simply not going to arrive. Rama also getting beamed down here. Final connection from Guille, no kill, but there's the win for SK, and they get to add another loop to their belt. Well done, and a win.
Wow, beautiful stuff from SK Gaming, looking incredible here towards the end. And I mean, Craze, this is a very unfortunate loss, because not only does it put SK on 4-1, it means that now Craze, they're 1-4, and that's when things start to be very dangerous. There's no more room for mistakes whatsoever on their side, and they are definitely going to be relying on, you know, other teams performing very poorly. And here's the challenge. They still have yet to face teams like Totem, you know, or even Doxer that have been looking quite fierce at the moment. So this is a bad situation for Craze Clan, and you know, some of their previous matches, like their loss against FA Baguette, are going to be haunting them now because they really needed those sort of wins.
From a Snapdragon perspective, it's looking pretty bad for them because there's very, very little possibility that they actually make it to the playoffs, unfortunately, unless they pull out something insane like we've never seen before, which they did today versus SK. This was very inventive and it was very successful, especially when Mr. P came into the mix. Unfortunately, that's just 1 set out of 3 that they need to be able to do, but it does give hope for the team as itself, as its own singular entity, because they're looking so much better than they have over the last few weeks.
Yeah, I fully agree. Craze Clan really impressed me today. They looked better when it came to their decision-making. It just was the pressure that was applied by SK Gaming which just led to their demise at the end of the day, and you're right. No room for error anymore. They've got to win every single game and likely hope for some teams to have some misfortune along the way. Let us know at home, though, what did you think about that matchup? You can go over to Twitter now, use the hashtag Snapdragon Pro Series. Give us your thoughts on things and the games to come as well. Who do you think is going to take it a win today? Let us know there over on Twitter. And again, we've got to give a huge shout out to Snapdragon Elite Gaming, again, as a fantastic, amazing sponsor for the shows.
Oh, definitely. So, I mean, this season has been absolutely crazy already, and it would only ever be possible thanks to their support. So very appreciative for that.
Yeah, we're able to cast, the players can play, and you're able to watch, so everyone's a winner in that respect. But again, what a great match to start the day, ready set, but we are just getting started here. We've got plenty more to come. We're going to be having Tribe Gaming versus Get up next.
That's going to be an interesting matchup because at Tribe, we saw them go down in the first match day to Dogster Lobster, but they've been looking very, very fiery as well. But also, a thing that we got to be paying attention to is that we saw Lena kind of start off not doing so amazing, then found his footing and his synergy with the team, doing fantastic. Now Yoshi's back. Yoshi's in the mix. Lena is off on vacation or doing whatever, and Yoshi has been freed.
Yeah, he's got his tropical sprout skin on at the moment. Again, we'll be back after a very short break, but don't go anywhere. Tribe Gaming EU versus Get after this.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Is given a prompt that contains information from Brawl Stars. The player then decides whether it's real or fake. If the player decides that it's fake, the player has to point out which part of it is fake. Points are awarded for correctly identifying the prompts. Let's see how they did.
Hello, my name is Rama. I'm the captain of Crayston. It's true. It's real. I thought we're talking about the graphics, but okay. It must be real. I just played yesterday. Yeah. The icon is fake. I think it's fake. Just the name. I don't think it's good. No. Fake. The icon one. Fake. Icon again. The other one. Ooh. The name. So 2 points, yeah? Yeah.
Look at my shine with the glow. This is my time with it though. This is my time to be way at the top. Me and my guys gon' pay out the block. I don't look like boss. Time's right, and I know the sea is walking in a limelight. Promise you gon' wanna watch like a sci-fi. My guys are high risers, high tide. My crown if you come to my side. I pledge allegiance for lifetime. My squad connected like Wi-Fi. We grind and you see the highlights. This my life. It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way. You wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Game now, me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way, you wasn't invited. Say you come to play. I dare you to try it. You don't wanna try me. Then step up to my team. Yeah, out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way. Yeah, yeah. Out of the way.
welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series Brawl Stars. We are, of course, still in the EU and MENA region, and day 5 is really starting to heat up. Teddy, up next, Tribe Gaming EU versus FA Baguette. This should be a fiery one.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, you know, we had already a pretty heated first match. It got close, not quite close enough, unfortunately, for Trace. But this time around, I mean, it's a similar situation, right? Tribe, they're 3-1. This is not quite their ticket to the playoffs, but it nearly might be. Whereas, you know, for the side of Baguette, they pretty much need a win here as well if they want to stay very competitive in this season.
Yeah, Tribe 3-1, but FA Baguette 3-1, just 3 losses to 1 win. I mean, that's a compelling scoreline to consider here, ready to. I mean, Tribe are already in the driving seat going into this one. I know. How do you sort of feel compared to their previous week's performances coming into today?
I feel very confident in Tribe. I think that they can take this one. Baguette is a phenomenal team, don't get me wrong, but Tribe is so strong. They have Yoshi back, and Yoshi is looking to be in his normal form as well. So this, I think, can be a pretty typical Tribe performance that we can expect from them today. Now, Baguette, they're kind of a mystery. They're a dark horse. They got Orca on the team, and he's bringing all kinds of SCSA ideas to the team as well. Team that, or rather the region that kind of pioneered the whole Carl thing before he got that recent buff. So we'll see what kind of new ideas are brought today.
Yeah, I mean, Yoshi, sort of normal form, but yet to evolve into full form, I guess.
Yeah.
At the moment, though, I got to say as well, some memories a little bit on the side of Tribe, because this was the team which knocked them out of the upper brackets in the Splits Finals, Open Finals 1. So, but again, Teddy, that was a long time back. You know, FA Baguette have had a lot of roster changes, and changes don't always bring synergy and chemistry for a team sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a tough season for them, you know. They lost Darkum very recently as well. Not sure yet if they will be playing with him still today. And even if they are, that might not be the best move either. So it's definitely going to be challenging. And yeah, here you can see them. Baguette all the way on the bottom, tied up with FA Siege. This could be a big day for them if they can pick up a win. Just like for Tribe, I mean, they could be staying and locking their spot in the top 3 rather, by getting that victory today. So both teams really hoping to get a win. Tribe, it's more out of safety and security, whereas for Baguette, it's kind of a must.
Yeah, there's some big matches still to come for Tribe, so they'd definitely like to make the most of today to get that win over FA Baguette, who are, you know, rocking the bottom, it's fair to say. You know, they have to get off the bottom of the leaderboards today, similar to how we've seen Craze, you know, going into that matchup in day 4, but today wasn't their day. It has to be FA Baguette's day. This is actually ready to a great opportunity for them to get ahead of this and try to creep up into that top 4.
They absolutely need to as well. It's going to be tough for Baguette, but as long as you're, if we talk relying on the losses of some of the other guys at the top, if Team Queso isn't able to take a win today, then FA Baguette is very much in the running for that next spot. It doesn't mean as much for Tribe Gaming EU to win this one as it does for FA Baguette. This is a total game changer, and it could very much change the course of how the rest of this series turns out.
Yeah, the battle for top 4 really is on. I mean, it's realistically only really Reply Totem that can't necessarily go wrong at the moment, but I don't want to jinx that one. We've still got that big matchup to come later on today as to whether they'll secure themselves in to the finals. But Teddy, you know, your thoughts on the matchup to come and just how the leaderboard is shaping up?
I think this match might actually be more important for Tribe than we think, because the next 2 matches they have are against Totem and SK.
Yeah.
And that is
true.
Kind of a nightmare end of the season, especially if they were to lose today. Then suddenly there's actually chances that Tribe don't qualify, because, I mean, realistically, they might very much lose against SK and Reply Totem. You know, not saying that they're worse than them, but even if it's a 50-50, it's very much possible that that goes wrong. So I do think that Tribe, just for security's sake, they kind of want to sort it out now, you know, make sure that they have that just extra safety buff. And yeah, I think they really want that win against Baguette today, because it's just going to make them feel a lot better for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I fully agree. I feel like any team going into a matchup later on against Reply Totem and SK does need to have some insurance, and this is Tribe's opportunity for an insurance policy. Let's check out the Tribe Gaming roster if you're lesser familiar with them. great to see Lenan appearing in that little pre-roll. Not though there, but nonetheless, kind of ironic as well because he's not playing today, he's on holiday. Yoshi, Lenan, Tom, and Drage, and I'm pretty sure it'll be Yoshi, Drage, and Tom, who have again been looking much better now, bringing Yoshi off the bench and kind of getting him back into full swing. And they've had some great results with him recently. You know, they qualified for the BSC again for next month and had a great performance in the BSC just this last week gone, making the grand finals again, where it's Reply Totem that took them down. But again, you know, when it's a bit of roster change, ready set, you've got to also keep wary of that chemistry and revitalizing that, which Tribe Gaming, for me at least, seem to have done better now.
And we have to return to the narrative that Drage told us that we're grateful for in an interview. He said that everyone has their off months, and this was our off month. We're getting back on our feet, we're feeling good, and we're back to our former form. And that has proven to be true so far, but we haven't gotten to see it put versus the likes of SK or Totem yet, so it's going to be a bit of a mystery how this one turns out going forward, but they got to keep their momentum going forward right here today in this match.
Well, we asked Tribe Gaming what they thought of their matchup today. Let's take a look now at what they said.
FA Baguette has some of my as one of my friends there, Walker, so looking forward to play against him for the first time. He came from SCSA region, so it's been good to play against him. Walker, you suck.
Friends off camera, but today there will be no friends, only rivalries. But it's great, you know, this is what I love about this region. You know, a lot of people maybe watching it from the sidelines don't get just how close some of these teams and players are. And the fact that Drage can drop that bombshell, I mean, Orca, mate, I wouldn't be having it. I wouldn't be having it. Drage, remember, hasn't won a match at LAN. So there's one for you. You can throw that one at him. But yeah, great to see you ready set and playful banter all round.
Always from Drage as well. He's got friends in East Asia, he's got friends in SCSA, now in EU, and of course, you know, got to bring it back home to EU as well. So a warm invitation to Orca here in EU, very much so. But still, I think this exudes the kind of confidence and also the kind of attitude that Tribe comes into this one with, is that they kind of take it one step at a time, and they get their game face on at a very separate time than the pre-match kind of warm-up.
Yeah, the trash talk is flying, as are the roster lineups. Let's check out FA Baguette's roster now. Wow, Equark, Darkham, and Orca. And again, I assume Darkham is playing with them today, as the roster is still in effect. I mean, they left on good terms, but Darkham did obviously go over to another team very recently. So there is that to consider there. But Shoto as well, you know, in the sidelines. This is the team which have had, Teddy, a lot of backstory, a lot of roster changes. I mean, they actually qualified for the Snapdragon Pro Series with Joker back in Split 1, who then went to Reply Totem. There seems to be a bit of a curse when it comes to their roster lineups, is there not?
Yeah, you know the meme where you have, like, you know, the guy sitting next to, like, all the graves? Like, that's Aqua, you know, with Joker leaving, Ope, Darkoom, like, they've all disappeared from Baguette. It's been tough. It's been tough for him and the team in general. I'm not entirely sure if they're going to be playing Whiskers like in the qualifiers, or if we'll see, you know, Darkoom still playing with them. No matter what, it's a challenging season for them, and I mean, I can only wish them the best, but facing Tribe in those conditions, especially since Tribe has only dropped one set in their last 3 matches, it's scary.
Yeah, I did actually speak to Kirst earlier. He said that he wasn't playing today.
Okay.
So I feel like Darkham then would be the likely candidate, but has, as we know, moved over to Vax Esports now. So, but again, being on good terms always goes a long way in that respect. You're able to you know, come in and pull a favor for your teams. But there we have the draft shaping up for Kaboom, Canyon. We've got Crow banned on both sides, Daryl banned and Bonnie banned by FA Baguette. Quick picks coming in with the Carl, Bell, and Colette. I love that, shaping up to be there from Tribe Gaming EU.
So far, it's looking pretty good for Tribe because they do have that Carl. It's a very crucial brawler. Also, Colette going to be an important one. Thing with Colette is you can outrange her, so it's a great pickup by Tribe to also get the Bell, but there's still a counter pick available to FA Baguette. Now, by the looks of the draft, it's probably not going to be a tank, but it could be something like a Gale to jump into mid consistently. That might be able to shake things up just a little, but there's no tank to accent that with. It's going to be a Piper, actually, which is pretty fascinating because the only wall break on this map is going to come from Piper, so she's going to have to charge up that super first, and then she can make some waves happen once she's broken open some of the bushes and she can actually see the targets that she's supposed to be shooting at. It's going to be a little bit complex, but FA Baguette, they pick Piper here. They're confident in her. Hopefully they can make it work.
Yeah, I think maybe auto aimer as a gadget might be the way to go. You know, facing a Carl, just get him out of spinning. So I don't know. I mean, I honestly kind of prefer the draft on the side of Tribe Gaming. I feel like it's a bit more versatile and just more possibilities to make it work.
Yeah, for me, I feel like the Piper pick wasn't a bad one. Is it going to be... So I actually do know who's who. Well, Darkham, we know who Darkham is. There's that. But there's also, I think, Equark was... Was he Quack the Lola? I think so. It's going to be very difficult to keep up with this team because their player names don't exactly help. But I did get a routine in my mind to be able to work out who is who, but it's gone out of my memory for the moment. But it is Tribe who take the middle ground early on, which is a really big disadvantage realistically, is again, that Piper needs to get super to be able to break open the mid, and it might even be, it's going to be the play now, which is risky. I would actually prefer to have left that wall, retake the control, and then break the grass myself ready to.
The thing is, it's going to be logical for Drage to sort of fire things down mid, so that's probably where he's likely to stay for as long as he can. He's going to be able to take some right lane action as well as Tom has cleared this thing out. And we also see on the left side a whole lot of damage dealt by Yoshi so far. He's hanging on to his super for when someone tries to push out, but it's looking quite unlikely. Tom's able to get on top of the safe. So much free damage off that super. And we'll see one last percent sitting on top of the safe now. It looks like it's going to come down to a shot bouncing between a turret and that safe, as long as Yoshi is able to make that connection. But the damage from FA Baguette has been pretty overwhelming for Tribe Gaming so far. They're going to back up. They're going to cut their losses, not get too aggressive, because that way they are going to get taken down. Tom manages to get forward. He just needs one little pickaxe swing onto that safe, and he's going to let it go on for a little bit, throw down a spray too. And this will be Tribe Gaming taking the first win.
Not just taking the first win, but 100-0. I mean, there wasn't a scratch. There wasn't a single shred of damage dealt there by FA Baguette. And again, I don't think the comp's necessarily a bad one to be able to add something of that kind of caliber to the mix. It's just that, you know, gaining that advantage, gaining that high ground early on is a really important thing to do. Now, if FA Baguette can play this a little bit better in the early game, that would go a long way. But big taps on the right-hand side from bench 825 on then the Piper forcing it back. The penny turret was earned quite quickly by Darkham, but it's already one shot away from going down here, as Tribe just looks so fierce in the mid.
It's really tough to get someone out of mid once they're there, and even if it's a 2v3, as long as they're in their in that bush, it's a mystery. Though we will see Yoshi get cornered on the right side. Got to see some damage coming in. Big wall break too, and here comes the penny turret just as the walls vanish, and it might not last for long. Looks like Tom isn't going to focus it too hard. There's the auto aimer, as Teddy mentioned earlier, and Drage on the left side is going to have to keep Darkhoon back, but he is a little outrange, so he's at a minor disadvantage. But the walls that are up and the bushes that are up are proving to be a nice playing space for FA Baguette so far. More wall break coming out as well. And the outrange needs to be in full force for FA Baguette. They've gotten exactly what they need, which is those supers from Piper. And here comes the damage raining in 1-2 shots already up mid. But they're already starting to back up. It doesn't seem to be as much of an issue, though, because the bush is no longer something that needs to be played around. It simply won't exist for the entire rest of the game, and it's going to be much easier for FA Baguette to pick up any ground that they can see to try.
Well, I have it on good authority that is Orca on the Piper. Thank you, Kirst. Big taps, though, on the left onto the penny, and that's forcing Darkham far back. But Tom is an ideal person, realistically, to be able to get the pickaxe in. He's actually going to go the aggressive, but why not? Both Darkham and their Orca so very low, it made sense to do so, but they didn't quite get the value he was looking for. Missed mark as well there from Yoshi. Big pickup from Drage. Gets the gotcha gadget rolling in as well to be able to go the aggressive. But Orca coming back in now, trying to get those taps. There's not much in it. Timer on the clock, 40 seconds left remain, but if FA Baguette can get a good push here, they could bring this one back quite easily.
They very much could. It's just going to be tough because some of these brawlers kind of contradict each other. The entire strategy with Piper is, yes, you get range, but you also have to break up mid, which is going to make Penny less viable because she needs walls to protect her turret so it doesn't get taken down as quickly. And now it's in a defensive position. FA Baguette are running out of time to get on the offensive, and we'll see Tribe pretty much keeping them at range. And we'll see also the nest egg pop down too. I don't think it's very likely that Orca will trip that. Tom gets to run in if he so wishes. Not going to be too much damage from Lola at the very end of the game. A little bit trickles in, but it's simply not enough to match what Tribe has put out so far. Some spins, some pins as well, and the wind's headed over to the way of Tribe.
And it looks like a very solid performance. I mean, definitely an improvement, as we saw there. FA Baguette started to roll in some damage towards the end, but it wasn't much to show for it. And again, it just felt like the control was always with Tribe. Just a team that are able to realistically keep that high ground and maintain it and just keep the pressure rolling in. The longer then your opposition is not taking that back, then it's going to go against them massively. So not really much to say in terms of the healing of both sides. Pretty evenly split, but definitely more damage output from Tribe by a little bit there, and definitely more takedowns as well. I mean, it's the perfect start for Tribe, and again, as Teddy rightly put before coming into this matchup, an incredibly important one that Tribe do win this, as again, their matchups to come are SK and Reply Totem in day 6 and 7.
I mean, the confidence is definitely here and has been proven on the battlefield, and that's the #1 way to prove it. When we talk Baguette, though, I like the creativity. It just seemed like it got in its own way. The creativity, they might have outdrafted themselves. When it comes down to Piper breaking open some of the walls that Penny needs to function, that's complicated. That's simply not going to work, and it's what gave them a little bit more damage in game #2, but still, we didn't see any action from Penny there, unfortunately, and we'll see if that happens once again. Once more, the creativity was there. It just outdrafted itself.
What do you think, Teddy? Was it like an outdraft there? Because, I mean, I didn't mind the draft there from FA Baguette, to be completely honest, but they struggled, it's fair to say. Where do you think they struggled most?
I think that, for me, the draft was definitely like a slight advantage for Tribe, which, you know, when you compare the mechanics and the team synergy, should give them enough of an advantage to just take it. In the first game, I mean, it was more than just take it. It was dominated, right? 100-0, that is very one-sided in the highs, especially in a map like that, where usually if you get some sort of control, you're able to turn things around, but just no opportunities to do so. And the second game was more competitive, but still kind of off on the side of Baguette, and I think they need some more work here to make something happen, as Dueling Beetles is up next.
Well, draft coming in, and Carl banned, Squeak banned, and Penny banned by Tribe. There's the bans of Croak, Bell, and Bo on the side of FA Baguette. First insta-pick there of the Janet already says, again, a brawler we don't tend to see too often, simply because she is in such a great place. But for Dueling Beetles as a map, you know, kind of where do you think that she's going to sit within? I mean, I'm assuming lane side, but I think there's probably maybe some other picks that I would personally go for there.
I feel like Bonnie is probably one of the better first picks, and we'll see actually Tribe go for it. The thing is that Bonnie does have counterplay, and we'll see actually Baguette go for the Colette, which is going to be fantastic versus Bonnie. Of course, similar range here. Colette's just a little outrange. When it comes to Pam, also, she has a whole lot of health. She's going to be able to stand up versus the likes of Bonnie. Even if she jumps in, she'll be able to hang on as Bonnie fires away those shots. It's where Gale comes in that things get a little more complicated, but this was a very quick reaction from FA Baguette, so they're not really playing into the Gale. They're not deciding to counter it out by the looks of things. We'll see a B to finish things off. I really like this from Tribe. The thing is that they don't have any wall breaks, so it's still going to be kind of complicated. B will be able to diff a couple of these matchups, though. She will take quite a bit of damage from Pam, but the other thing is that she outranges Janet, she outranges Colette, and no one really has a whole lot of health except for Pam on the side of FA Baguette, so I feel like this is a wise last pick by Tribe.
All right, yeah, what I think is a little scary is no wall break indeed, but also no way of removing those bushes, which means that Bonnie with speed gear could be a threat in the mid potentially. Not gonna be the case just yet, but maybe later on.
Well, an early drop there of the base by Darkham. Not necessarily going to be doing too much. I mean, Tribe can still push through it. It would be better to have in a more aggressive position, but in order to get there, FA Baguette do have to earn them in control. But the time in the zone, though, is doing really, really well. Darkham is just teasing in, and Tribe are just looking to time their run. And this could be a good time for it, as Darkham now too low, and on the right-hand side there as well, Equa can't really do too much here, but Tribe are playing very passively so far already, so they're not really going in on the aggressive and just looking to realistically, I don't know, and their supers first. Take time.
It's a little strange. I feel like one of the main objectives is going to be get Drage in that offensive position, because once he's in the enemy bush, he's going to be really tough to get out. Of course, he's going to need help from his fellow lanes, but he's still very, very strong there. He's already going to go for it, though. Dark, who made the mistake of sitting on low health. Here comes a gotcha from Colette, and she's actually able to generate a kill off of it. Another one in as Yoshi takes some serious damage. Tom also hanging on for dear life. The super in from Darkum's going to be extremely aggressive, and he's going to be able to get the kill on Tom, too. Tom didn't want to use the super there. He's going to use it as a last-ditch effort later. Drage also taken down. Very well played by FA Baguette, as they're nearing this point of no return, actually. Tribe, though, they're not overcommitting. They're saving their abilities for later, but they're going to have to pop them off pretty quickly here. Otherwise, FA Baguette is going to be at an indomitable lead.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned that Tribe has taken this one so passively and so slowly. I mean, again, it's a great strategy to have as long as you're able to not lose control of the mid. And that blowback there just did not connect with Orc, but Thomas jump in surely will. But Darkham now in a position where he can able to be contesting this alongside of Equok. Double takedown to the left, but it is Equok staying firm in the mid now, popping the gadget a bit prematurely, but Scrap Sucker now not necessarily the biggest worry as Orc comes back into the mix, 10% needed, and if we get short now, we'll take a game.
This is the inventiveness that we expect and that we love to see from FA Baguette, because who would have thought in their head, yeah, you know what, we'll run sort of a counter to Gale. He can't stun you out if you're in some kind of dash that cannot be stunned, and that applies to Bull, but it also applies to Colette when she's in her super, so I think this is well played. Now, whether that was a happenstance or whether that was reactionary from a Colette to go for that super as soon as the Gale super came out, that's up for you to decide for yourself. It is a little bit subjective, but it proved to be sort of a game-changing factor towards the end, because as soon as Drage gets in a comfy spot and he has appropriate firepower at his flanks, he's going to be very difficult to remove from mid, and FA Baguette did a phenomenal job of keeping him out. This time, though, Drage is able to find that position relatively early, and we'll see this percentage count tie up as well. Twister at mid, no movement in from mid. It's going to have to happen on the lanes, and Tom is already outranging on the right.
Well, I like the way that Tribe changed things up and put Gosh into the mid and had then Drage on the left-hand side lane. It gave that control early on, and ultimately, that's exactly what they were lacking in the last game. And being able to get the Gale into that position was what we didn't see happen once in the last game. Drage placing down that Twister in the mid is exactly where you need to be placing it, as the Gale has some great value there. From Yoshi gets the pick up on Darkham. Will he get the pick up though onto Orca? Support is there with Drage, and now the knockback timed far, far better. This is looking like a nice difference so far from Tribe. Still not getting themselves quite into the run of things, and are lacking a little bit when it comes to their consistency on that side as the Wi-Fi symbol starts to sort itself out. FA Baguette, though, do need to respond here, and they look like they are doing just that, so hopefully the Honey Molasses there will go a long, long way to deter them and push them back at a better range for Yoshi to pick up some taps.
It's certainly going to make things a little bit more complicated for Pam on the left side. Drage does pick up this super here. Tom with a rush in, gets the takedown on Colette as she almost picks up a kill as well. Janet trying to make some moves, almost gets that second shot on Tom too to take him down, but Tribe Gamer remain alive. They are still behind on the percentage count. Drage also forced out of this position. Down goes the Pam turret too, and the generation of the cannon as well, but the entire team pinches in on Tom and he goes down. And Colette is hanging on by her last legs. In fact, gets taken down by Yoshi. There's a takedown onto Pam too. Complete team kill by Tribe. And the collapse from Darkroom as well. I think they got know that that was a big play, but they can fire back just as well. Though, Tribe Gaming is closing in on the percentage, closing this gap here. Double stun by Drage, and almost a kill by Colette. The Gotcha Gadget isn't going to keep her alive, but the Mama Squeeze turret is in. It's going to save them from one hit from Yoshi, and they get to take the lead back once again. And Tom is so weakened here in his out-of-cannon form that they will be able to take the kill onto Drage too with the super from Darkroom, and the last bit of damage coming in as well. A double kill off the Janet super, and well played by FA Baguette. It looks like it is going to be a win for this set.
I've got to say, Yoshi had a really clutch moment in that one that really changed the tides, but then it was Drage that came back in off the spawn with some fast and fantastic connections on the Gale side of things, but a set which Tribe almost dropped there. Genuinely, that could have gone another way as the Baguette start to shine through a little bit better. The damage, though, is shining in the way of Tribe Gaming there. Just narrow, very, very narrow of 100,000. But huge amounts more healing on the side of Baguette, which you'd kind of expect. Did have the Pam pick, and also the Colette, which you can have the Gotcha Gadget bringing some value there. But not the cleanest of sets for Tribe there, I've got to be honest.
A lot of persistence there from FA Baguette, as you said, with the Pam, with the Colette as well, able to heal themselves up, doing a great job. Also, I think we got to see Colette played in a much different kind of way than we're used to seeing her play. Usually she's just there to deal with the tank, and then like a tank gets picked into her anyway because people know like, yeah, I'll be able to do fine versus Colette as long as the walls aren't broken open too much. And we saw Colette played not into a tank and played very, very well. And we saw her super used in a different way than we're used to, and we also saw it used to finish off kills versus pretty squishy targets. So this is a different way of seeing Colette. It's very high skill cap as well, and it gives me a lot of faith in this brawler, perhaps to see a little bit more from this team.
Teddy, looking from the sidelines in that one, I mean, you know, Tribe won it. It wasn't comfortable. You know, does that shine through how experienced they are as a team to be able to come back from sticky situations?
I mean, it's definitely very important because, you know, pro teams, like, there's games they're supposed to be winning, and that's all good and stuff if you're getting an outdraft or whatever not. But it's those close interactions that really make the difference, right? Being able to win those clutches and win the games that you're not really supposed to be winning. Because honestly, I kind of prefer the draft on the side of FA Baguette. So good stuff from Tribe here, and an important game to pick up. Now, FA Baguette, I mean, they really don't have too much room for mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, this is realistically a situation that could be going very much the same way as we saw Craze already happening today. Definitely going to have to just pick up their pace, and that's what I felt they did start to do in Dueling Beetles. It was a much better round than it was in Kabim Canyon, but I mean, for them to realistically have a fighting chance here, they've got to start to put Tribe under more pressure.
I feel like the pressure was not necessarily applied there in the draft. It was applied during the game, and it was done very well. When it comes to the draft for FA Baguette, we saw how quickly they fired off their next couple of picks there in form of Pam and Colette as well. They knew that this was exactly what they wanted to run. They felt comfortable with it. They prepared this one ahead of time, and that is where they're going to draw their strengths as well, because they've had ample time to prepare for this matchup. They've had a few days. Also, of course, going through the monthly qualifiers, but they had more time. They don't have to make this development just within the pick and ban phase, and it proved to work really, really well. I just wonder how that's going to continue into the following maps.
Yeah, and for me, like Teddy, with Yoshi now back in the mix, is it a similar sort of agreement that we have that he's now looking far, far better than those very early stages of when he, you know, came off the bench? He's looking pretty decent now there. A lot of times I find that he's picking up a lot of the scraps and pieces to really bring the team back into a winning situation.
I think Yoshi's been looking pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like he's like a clear weak link or anything on the side of Tribe. I think he's had a pretty solid performance overall. Maybe not like, you know, an insane pop-off like we almost expect him to because of the caliber of that player. But he's doing his job, and I mean, you know, most of the time that's going to be more than enough.
I think so too. We'll move into Bell's Rock for the next one though, and already the bans are flying out of here. Piper ban is an interesting one here for Tribe. Maybe they're thinking ahead of FA Baguette, thinking like, okay, they're probably prone to run the Piper here, and also they have last pick. We do see the Carl emerge from Tribe as well, a Jean on the side of FA Baguette, and I'm liking the Jean and I'm liking the Carl. They sort of, well, Carl is always going to be good, and then Jean plays counter to Carl most of the time. We'll see the Max come out as well. This is looking to be a great draft for FA Baguette so far. They've also banned out some of the more troublesome brawlers. In fact, most of the brawlers that dominate this meta at the moment, with the exception of Carl, have been banned out. We'll see what the reaction is from Tribe, though. They have a couple of picks in their pocket.
Okay, well, I mean, I've got to say, Jean is coming back into the meta, big time at the moment. And I think that's a wise choice to have against the Carl, especially. Lamp Blowout is really going to eradicate a lot of that aggressiveness that Tribe are going to try to inflict, and they're going to have to reconsider then the targets. Ultimately, I think they have to eradicate the Jean to be able to let the Carl thrive into the later rounds, Teddy. And the Max as well, having that speed applied to it. The Jean Max meta was a huge, huge thing, you know, back in 2021 and 2020. Now bringing it in with the Buzz. This is looking nice from FA Baguette, but do you reckon this is a winning comp?
It's an interesting one for sure, because I mean, Carl is Carl, and even if you have ways of shutting him down, it feels like you can kind of just play the poking game and play it at range and let his teammates actually deal the heavy blows and the finishing blows. I mean, G-Max back to basics, right, on the side of FA Baguette. I do like the Buzz here. I think it's a map where it can definitely put in some work, as there's a lot of angles where you can get some free supers. But it's still challenging because Fang can absolutely be a threat still, and yeah, I'm not really sure. It feels fairly even to me.
I feel like it puts a lot of pressure onto Carl as well, because once the Buzz has his super, he's going to be able to grapple anyone. And here we already see grappling Tom. That's probably going to be the freeze matchup for him already. We'll see a stun and a Dark Room. Okay, a lightning fast match so far. What on earth is going on? We will see, though. It looks like Tribe Gaming do have this one in the bag if they're able to eliminate Max here. Max really wants a super, but they're not going to let it happen. And no super for Max. Drage gets that last kill. That's probably the fastest round of knockout that we've seen so far.
Absolutely disgusting from Yoshi. I literally was just I was convinced there was no way that he was going to be able to turn that one around. I thought it was a straight up double kill there for Equok. It wasn't to be. I mean, this is the thing that for me is the most concerning part, is that Tribe looks so comfortable even when they are under this much pressure. Now Equok goes in, gets the connection onto Tom. Tom surviving now, 3 versus 2, and FA Baguette have got to change the way this is going.
Pretty much the playstyle for FA Baguette is they get a super with Buzz as soon as they can, and then they immediately super on the Tom for a free kill. But one time they got taken down and comboed out by Yoshi. The next time, Tom didn't even go down. Good reaction here from Tribe Gaming. They know to stick to their guns and stick together and eliminate the Buzz. Unfortunate as well. I feel like maybe in the next game, Baguette is going to wait things out a little longer. Try to get that free Buzz super that you can get with Eyes Sharp instead of going for the gadget and immediately going in, because the stun is going to mean a lot here. The kills that there were actually quite narrow onto Buzz. And he's taking a whole lot of damage off the beginning of the game, especially versus Yoshi. We'll see that residue tossed down at mid by Tom. Splits this map in 2. Drage not having that great of a time on the right side as he takes a whole lot of damage, but he's not going to have a great time if he decides to super in either. So he's going to be going for power throw, a bit of longer range matchup. No stun. No, there's the chain stun. And still, Buzz goes down. Drage is going to have to super out here, and we might see a good combo. No way! Perfect timing on the phase shifter as well. And Tribe Gaming will be taking this first round by the looks of things, unless Drage gets taken down. That's going to be FA Baguette reacting.
Didn't expect it. Didn't expect it. I thought FA Baguette there, maybe. Could have gone down actually better, but Tribe able to stay composed enough, and let's see. Let's see. Good aggression from Tom and super to hand, but the support is there, and Drake's super as well. It's not looking good for FA Baguette here. There's a nice tap there onto Darkham. He goes down as well. This leaves just Orca, and that is going to be a very convincing shakedown as, yeah, good response from Tribe and looking much, much better.
Let's see what they're able to do now. Already a super on the side of Yoshi. Tom going to try and hold down mid once again. Speed in with a pull, and Darkum is not going to be able to get it. Drage is forced to super, and that's pretty much going to be the best use of his super as well, because everything else can be dodged out. One contact on that slow from the super too. We'll see a lot of pressure being applied by Buzz and onto Buzz. Good combo, but down goes Yoshi, and now it's a 2v2 for this final round of the game.
Oh. No, good connection from Tom. He's really hitting a lot of these shots that slow down to connect with Darkham. And that is good pressure applied from Drake yet again, and a chance for Tribe to get ahead in this one as one round here, and it's just going to be left down to Orca to try to be the one to do it. It's not going to happen. Really nicely done. Tribe looked so confident in knockout, and FA Baguette just didn't get a look in at all. Tribe now with a really, really solid chance of bringing out to go all the way now.
Unfortunate here for FA Baguette, because they came into this with something creative and it kind of fell flat, and Tribe Gaming knew exactly how to react to it. When it comes to healing, you can see from these stats a lot more for FA Baguette, but they also took a whole lot more damage than they were able to fire off at Tribe, and they seriously got some shots in with Buzz, but he got taken down after every single interaction. I imagine that's not how it went in scrims, but applied to the real world versus the big leagues like Tribe, it's simply not going to work, because the counterplay is simply have your teammates nearby.
Yeah, the thing with Buzz, every time that Buzz comes up, is that I get excited because it's really fun to watch, Teddy. It's one of those brawlers which just has those amazing pop-off moments, similar to Mortis, similar to Fang. But it does seem to me like in the meta at the moment, Fang is still kind of in a more superior place. Would you think that's fair to say?
Absolutely. Thing as well is I felt like the Fang didn't have the easiest matchups, and yet Yoshi made some absolute magic happen on that brawler. Crazy stuff from him, and I mean, I think it's also a great answer from Tribe after dropping a set to just take the next one as quickly as possible. That was really, really fast and convincing, and I mean, that shuts down any sort of momentum that Baguette were trying to build up.
That's exactly what you've got to do, right? You know, in those positions where you're giving your opposition an inch, you can't let them take a mile. You've got to shut the idea down. And I think for me, the draft there was a really, really good one from Tribe, actually, and brought them back into more kind of what we're expecting to see from them. You know, brawlers, I say brawlers, players like Yoshi and Lenan really bring that to the table.
You got to have that mechanic pop-off character that everyone else sort of plays around. They accent, they play the lane so that this guy can go mid, and they support them from long range. Just simply because they can press the buttons faster, and they know exactly what order to press them in, and they're able to apply that not just to one character, but any character that they can get their hands on. And when it comes to Yoshi on Fang specifically, that's a spectacular combo that we might not get to see once again during this match, but we can see that same mentality applied to other characters, especially like a Stu or something. We will see the Carl banned out this time, and in tandem, we will see the ban out of Bo. I think this is pretty prudent by Tribe because they know that by banning out Carl, it enables the Bo. And on Backyard Bowl, he's going to be a very frustrating brawler to deal with. He makes this match drag on for a very long time, which this map is pretty much known for.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, I like the Max first pick. It's going to shake things up, and we'll see the Gene and the Lola brought out by Tribe, two very strong brawlers. Also, you know, no risk of pulling the Ego instead of the Lola when the Lola is on your side. Amber and Byron to complete the comp for the side of FA Baguette.
Byron was a hugely played brawler on this particular map when we saw it previously in the map pool. I wouldn't mind to Pam him myself, to be completely honest. I think that would go quite a long way, but definitely some range is lacking on the side of Tribe, and I like the Bell ban on the side of FA Baguette for that same reason. Crow here would have been a great shout as well. So the bans really, for me, lining up fantastically well on the side of FA Baguette here, leaving little option. Kerbal and Spike could be a solid shout for Tribe as well if they want to go about it. Amber here is one of those ones which can be troublesome as well, and often is missed out. It's actually a pretty decent draft, I think, here for FA Baguette, but Tribe going to respond there with the Leon pick, something of a more assassination brawler. I imagine then the best target would be to approach would be the Amber for that one.
I feel like when it comes to scoring goals, which is ultimately the objective in this game mode, I like Tribe's comp a whole lot better, and it comes down to scoring goals on this map. That's what drags out this map so long, is while there aren't ample opportunities to corner the ball and keep it away from your enemies, there's a whole line of boxes between you and your enemies, and usually that gets kind of cast to the wayside because the primary brawl is at mid, which is wide and open, and you got to keep your focus there because if you don't win that fight, you're sure as heck not going to be able to put that ball in the goal, and it does seem like it was focused a little bit more by FA Baguette than it was by Tribe Gaming. But Tribe know that they can make this work at long range, as you said, Ark, with the Leon and putting that on the Amber lane. It's not going to work out that way for the very beginning of the game. We might even see a pass up to the left side. Could see Yoshi tank this one in. And we could also see a pole combo from Drage to open up some of the walls and make this happen. In fact, we might even see a pole a little bit early. Got to see a pass over. It is going to reach Yoshi, and there's a free open goal for Tribe Gaming to start this off. And it's looking quite dominant from them so far.
I've got to say, I love how as soon as the Byron stopped healing up on the side of FA Baguette, Tribe was able to then juke those shots so beautifully. In specifics, Yoshi, the way that he was able to go about the situation combined with the teamwork of Drage to really connect that gene pull and just allow the goal to be the final thought. There's Tom on the right-hand side, getting some great taps there onto Orca, who's under a lot of pressure now. The pressure being applied back over towards Equark. Nice pass through. That is going to be it. Tribe then onto match point as quickly as that. And they didn't make it look anything other than easy.
Tribe simply made it look like an art form. They did it so quickly. They did it well. They drafted it well. And we saw the adaptations mid-game from Baguette, and they simply were not enough to shut down Tribe. You can shut down one lane, but the other two are still going to be an issue. We saw the counterplay actually on the left side from Darko was actually to fan out his attacks. He has a lot of ammo. It's just that each attack doesn't do too much, but that's simply how Amber works. And he's going to be getting a wide spread every single time he attacks so that he doesn't have to risk Yoshi getting in close range. Even if he has his super, he's able to check a large area around him for that invisible brawler. Down goes some of the bushes, though, which is going to make Yoshi a lot less flexible. And the pin coming out as well. I wouldn't be too happy if I were missing those crucial bushes, but he's going to have to make it work. Drage helping him out with that set of magic puffs as well. On the right side, though, Drage and Tom still getting outranged. Here comes Max up to the battle once again, taking a whole lot of damage. No value off the shots either, but she really wants that super. It's what's gonna enable the aggressive play from FA Baguette. We simply haven't seen any action just yet.
Tom's got eager to hand, and that might be a time to bring it out if he wants to tank some shots forward. I mean, Drage and both Yoshi are full HP, so it'd be a good time to push forwards now, as the aggressiveness of Orca might not pay off. He does get the ball forwards, but for how long realistically? A nice pull there. Magic hand on point from Drage, and the ball shortly passed forwards now. Tom picking it up, and this should be a takedown from Yoshi, which should be a great time to score through, but the pressure is there.
What?
Pull this one in, they do. A little spin and a little bit of time wasting never hurts on Brawl Ball, as long as you don't mess up the final moments, and that is going to be a goal going the way I try.
And they didn't even mind feeding a super either, because they knew that they could run down the clock for a few precious seconds, and every second matters, especially when you have the goal advantage, and it's so hard to score on you. Sometimes it's just a couple of seconds or a split second that separates you from being able to put that ball in the goal, but Tribe Gaming absolutely earned that one. We saw the dash forward from Max to place it behind those lines. Great phase shifter out to dodge the damage, and there's the healing in as well onto Max, still dodging out a ton of damage, but not in a good position. She can't deal much damage versus the enemy team. There's a last phase shifter that's pretty much her ticket to scoring a goal, and now it's going to be even more difficult for FA Baguette to make something happen here. We will see on the left side though, Yoshi taking that last bit of damage. There's the Invisi-Heal to stay alive. Darku might be able to burst him down. Looks like he's running low on ammo too. Final damage there from Byron to take him down, but this ball is going to be almost unreachable, and there's only 15 seconds left for FA Baguette to make something happen.
Missed pull there from Drage. Not great under the circumstances, but having said that, it is FA Baguette that needs to get the ball. Not going to happen at all with the time that is left. That is surely going to be it. Tribe will take the win, and a very, very important one at that. They do need this one to be in a commanding position going into play days 6 and 7. So the job was done. Tribe were able to pick it up, and in convincing fashion, Teddy, in my opinion. I think that there was that glimmer, wasn't there, where we saw FA Baguette maybe being able to bring something back, but as quickly as the idea was out there, Tribe shut it down.
Yeah, definitely so. And I feel like Hot Zone was maybe a little bit of Tribe not playing their best gameplay. Besides that, Tribe looked very strong. I mean, the two last sets were just so dominant on their side. First one, very much so as well. So far, I would really just say that Tribe had a really good performance, Baguette struggling, and understandably so as well, considering, the roster changes and all those circumstances. Tribe just looks like a much better team at the moment.
Yeah, I feel so. They just look like to be so comfortable, and sure of themselves. I think that is really quite key, really. I mean, this is kind of shaping up to be quite an interesting day then, because we've had Crazeclan and FA Baguette now pushing themselves lower down the leaderboards as a result of this situation here. So actually now the 4th spot, a lot of other teams will be licking their lips.
Yeah, it's looking quite appetizing at the moment, and it's looking more possible than ever for some of these other teams as well. Tribe firmly rooted in their place. SK looking much of the same. Totem, I guess we get to find out at the end of the day, but if Totem do play their usual game, take their win, then that means that Queso gets shoved down, and yeah, that 4th spot is going to be pretty much wide open for anyone who takes some of these crucial wins. So we've already seen a couple of them go the expected way. We still got match 3 and 4 to play, but still serious implications, because we're nearing the end of this series, and it's really, really close considering how far we are in.
Yeah, and let us know at home as well. Who are you voting for today? Hashtag Snapdragon Pro Series over on Twitter. Did that match go the way you wanted? Were you actually rooting for the underdogs of FA Baguette? And who are you voting for in the maps to come? And again, got to give a huge, huge shout out to Snapdragon Elite Gaming for all they do, and for being able to place us in the position that we're in, placing the players into the position that they're in, and having you guys be able to enjoy the stream from home. And it's a pleasure to be having them be able to provide this much support.
Oh, definitely. We've had 2 amazing matches already today. Not quite the upsets that probably many fans would have hoped for to save some of those team season, but it's only possible because of Snapdragon Elite Gaming. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, massive thank you. Well, again, we are not done yet. We've got Dogs the Lobster up next versus FA Siege, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Welcome to Real or Fake. Here's how it works. The player is given a prompt that contains information from Brawl Stars. The player then decides whether it's real or fake. If the player decides that it's fake, the player has to point out which part of it is fake. Points are awarded for correctly identifying the prompts. Let's see how they did.
Hi, I'm Soy Bresa, and player for FA Siege. Okay, sweet dreams, send this next attack will whoever wake up from in the arch. It's real. Ah. Let's call a barrage over target on it. Oh, this I think it's real.
Points so far, but it matters so much because with Team Queso perhaps not taking that 4th spot, it's
FA Siege had it rough against Reply Token and SK and Tribe. So this is their opportunity.
That's, I feel like, an objective fact. They faced versus Tribe already, then they had to face up versus Team Queso, and then SK, and then even for the last match, Day Totem. They've gone through the top of the leaderboard already. All 4 of those teams. That's the top 4 right there. Now they occupying the bottom 4 of the leaderboard, and those are going to be the next 3 matches that they play, so we'll see if they're able to generate some wins off of that one. We got to see the momentum shift in the right direction though, because as we all know, momentum is a huge factor, and coming off of 3 losses can't leave you with the best feeling.
Well, we asked them how they felt about their matchup today. Let's find out what their response was.
Well, they're quite a big rival of us, especially in other competitions like the Queso Cup. We recently beat them in both the playoffs and the league seasons, so we're going quite confident into this next match, but they'll definitely give us a run for our money.
Bit disappointed that they weren't wearing that lobster cosplay, to be completely honest. That would have been a great opportunity to do so, but nonetheless, I mean, again, it's great to kind of hear that the team spirit is still high and they still value their chances. I mean, Teddy, do you think that's fair?
Feels like a fairly even matchup. I mean, sure,
yeah. FA Siege have had great promise in the past, but at the minute, they're a bit iffy. So, I mean, we've got to watch out for how their early performance is today. But if you are less familiar with the FA Siege roster, let's check it out. Well, Sonopreza, Jaime Gugu, and Kevin, and again, this is a team that I really do rate highly. If FA Siege are coming in today on a good day, like we saw them back in the July monthly final for BSC, then this could be a dangerous threat for Dogs to Lobster. But again, it's got to be a good day, Reddy said. And at the moment, they've been a bit off. They've been a little bit off, and that's the only concern I have.
If anything, though, they can reflect on those and learn from their mistakes there instead of here up on the stage for what's going to be one of the most important matches that they face, and because they have to get the ball rolling right here, right now, in order to take that 4th spot and qualify for the next stage.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, we did ask them the same question, how they were feeling about today. Let's find out what they thought.
So for our next match, we will face Dr. Lobster. We faced them twice in some tournaments, and we unfortunately lost. I feel like this team is really good. Like their chemistry, the way they play, the way they draft. Let's see how we can manage to play this match against them. Let's see how we can prepare ourselves against them, and let's see how it goes.
This is the thing. I mean, they've had some bashes in other tournaments, but never before in the Snapdragon Pro Series. So is that pressure today going to get the better of them? Let's find out. This is their head-to-head. And to be fair, it's a pretty close head-to-head, to be honest, Teddy. I mean, not too much in it at all when you look at the amount of damage, the healing. I mean, maybe a little bit more passiveness on the side of Dogs and Lobster in that respect, but not much.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the stats are very even. And the similarities really don't end here. I mean, it's everywhere, right? Those teams could not be more similar. They've they're both on a 3-lose-loss streak after winning a bit of an upset match in their first day of the season, and they've also both not won a single set in their last 2 matches. This is going to be their chance to try to turn that around, because so far, I mean, the last couple of play days, they've...
Especially here, but we do see a preemptive Gale pick. They know that they're probably going to be facing into a tank because Daryl is available. They're going to go for the Gene too. They do not want to face a tank, and also, they've gotten themselves one of the most powerful combos in the game. Gene and Ruffs work hand in hand. They are so powerful. The only thing they'll be sacrificing here is range, simply off of their base kits.
Yeah, I feel like the draft is fairly even, if not maybe slightly favorable for FA Siege, but you know, whenever you bring something like a Gene into the mix, or even a Ruffs, it does rely a lot on, you know, how you play it out, and if you're able to hit those big impact pulls, if you're able to get, you know, some buff.
Up for, but in a better position now. Healing puffs coming in, so everyone now in the mid in a good spot and full HP. Tomsy would love to get this pull, and it does connect it, taking out the walls at the same time onto Soydabreza, allowing him them to have more ability to control it. I like the way that Tomsy there just kind of has really eradicated these...
Absolutely, Ham. The Rico still is going to get countered out by Sprout. It takes 1, 2, 3 shots from Sprout, and Rico is down now. With the shield gear, I'm not entirely sure, but we'll get to see it when it gets into the game, and a final pick in the form of Bell is going to be great for dealing with Pam, as long as that damage amplifier is connected onto her, because she's going to be shoving herself out in the open, trying to get that turret for the late game to get a whole lot of value, a lot of survivability, especially with Sprout, who's so strong here in the late game. And that is going to be pretty much negated by Bell if she can sort of tone down Pam's survivability.
I think you're right, though, with the Brock being able to have a decisive moment on where you want to break here. And as long as FA Siege play that well, I think this comp can work. But I do think I prefer the Dogs to Lobster draft, Teddy. What are your thoughts? Do you say the same?
I think both are covering grounds pretty well. You know, you have the Rico and the Sprout that are threats in the early game. And oh my god, was that a bounce from Soydabreza to get that kill on the left-hand side? That was a nasty trick shot, and that early man advantage is very important here for FA Siege.
Yeah, Kanan now just trying to keep Gugu locked in, whilst Tomsy from below. I like this actually a lot. And it's forced out the bouncy castle gadget, but as quickly as that, Kevin coming in to help out, does clear up the right-hand side lane, and there's very little that Tomsy's going to be able to do in that situation whatsoever. As again, Wi-Fi, symbol coming into play, the fourth brawler of this matchup. But again, 3v1, it's only going to go one way.
Yeah, that was a round for FA Siege. Let's see if Dogster can strike back, as Kanan gets tapped early on. Is going to have to concede some map control. Again, they did swap over the lanes this time around, but the result is fairly similar. The trick shot connects again. It's not going to be the kill, but still, I mean, impressive shots there from Soydabreza, really showing the full potential of those Bell trick shots.
Oh!
He's insane, he's insane.
Gugu's shots there, though, just inches away from Tomsy, every single ball that came behind him, but it's dominant. It's looking now a little bit dominant on the side of FA Siege, because the way that they keep continuing on and forcing the hand into those corners for Dogs to Lobster here, I can see this going another set their way. And Teddy, I've got to say that that's a bit of a worry here. We need to start to see more resistance and more resilience here from Dogs to Lobster if they're going to be able to survive on here.
Man, look at those taps from Soydabreza. He's playing an insane Bell so far, and I love that he knows the exact angle as well to trick shot like so many different areas. He's just getting it right, and he's gonna get the kill as well. And I would say arguably, I mean, more often than not, Piper has the upper hand in a straight head-to-head matchup against a Bell, and I mean, absolutely not in this situation, as it just seems like Soydabreza is built diff.
FA Siege, mate, have got somewhere to be. They've got some dinner reservations lined up tonight, because this is such a quick round so far of knockout. It's almost over. At the moment, Tomsy forced to the right-hand side. The wall was good, but now Kevin over the top of it will keep him low. Big tap from Kanan, but OGS seem to always look like they're in control. Even when they're behind, they look like a team with a plan.
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, at last, the kill going the way of Dogster, but I mean, Tom is lucky enough to survive with this little HP. An aggressive jumping from Kevin, and somehow they get a kill off it, but it's still a 1v2 in favor of Dogster Lobster. It is Soydabreza. We've seen him pull off some quite miraculous plays, and it's some insane shots so far. But with a Pam that has a healing station, it's not going to be an easy job. And seems like the gas it is, as he's gonna walk on the edge of the map and give that round to Doxter.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the fair and wise decision to make. I mean, if there was a bit more time on the clock, maybe an opportunity, and maybe if there were less walls as well. And again, that's something that Kanan's kind of failed to get into a position and a commanding spot to do so at the moment, because these early rounds just tend to be so aggressive on the side of FA Siege as they start to always seem to push Doxter Lobster back early on. Nice angle there, I like the thought, to be fair, from the mid, but it just didn't quite connect in the way that you would have hoped. But on the right-hand side now, it's 2v3, and that does not spell good news for Tomzy and Kanan.
Yeah, I honestly feel like FA Siege are reading Doxter like a book, you know? Like, every time they aggress something, Doxter is gonna react to it and try to deal with it, but FA Siege is just one step ahead. They're ready for that countermeasure from Doxter, and they just deal with it with such class and ease. Impressive stuff. That was a very clean set from FA Siege. They dropped one round, but besides that, I mean, they look incredible all around.
Yeah, almost twice the damage. I mean, going into set 2, I was hoping and expecting, actually, much more from Doxter Lobster, because again, I really enjoyed a lot of what they did in set 1. It looked really solid. That I cannot say the same for. That looked very much the opposite of that, and a commanding position for me for FA Siege. I mean, going into set 3, ready, set, have you seen anything from Doxter Lobster that can tell you that they're going to be able to bring this one back?
It's weird because
such a nightmare to deal with on Minecart Madness. Like, the amount of times you get slowed and just ran over by the minecart, or it just completely blocks off opportunities. I think that can be something big, maybe to be combined as well with the Gene. Max is also still an option on the menu in my opinion. I do like Gene a fair bit here. I think it can turn things around very nicely, especially if you start things off with a disadvantage. And yeah, we'll see the Crow indeed. And I mean, if you hit the slow, that's a free Gene pool.
I do like the way it's shaped up here for Doxter Lobster, massively so, but the penny turret is a consideration here. I wouldn't mind a Fang, actually, on the side of FA Siege. I think it can get some good value and go on the aggressive or something along those lines, but they do need to consider the fact that, yeah, Crow as an assassination brawler does require a bit of a response similar to that. I wouldn't mind Leon either here myself, massively. I mean, to get the advantage of the high ground, to be able to, squeeze yourself in, but yeah, I don't know whether that's the pick. I've got to be honest. I mean, from FA Siege, I don't mind it. I mean, it's not a bad one to have. Range is always a good thing, but I'm not sure.
It's an outrange, and that's without a question. And this is where FA Siege has drawn their strength from in the past couple of sets, because the first set was an outrange, the second set was an outrange, third set, it's an outrange once again. The thing is, if you never get in range of a Gene pull, then you are never going to get Gene pulled, especially when you're going B and you have that Honey Molasses that you can throw down. You can get in close range and Gene's still not going to be able to hit a pull on you because you have a free totem that's pretty much just going to be used to block that out or tank a little bit of damage. I'm liking it from FA Siege. Can they execute on it though?
All right, well, let's find out as Minecart already spawns in. Can taking a fair bit of damage, and no Honey Molasses from Kevin. I mean, he finds some decent damage with this gadget, but I don't know. Interesting things so far, and how to win gets the mark onto Sword of Breza as well. Not the best start. It's interesting that Gene is playing a lane as well, as it's going to be a Bell mid for Doxter Lobster.
Yeah, I genuinely can't remember the last time I saw a Razzled Hive since the nerf. I mean, you really want Honey Molasses to be able to get a team in this spot here and place it behind that 4-tile by 2-tile wall. It can go such a long way, but at the moment, it doesn't seem to matter for FA Siege. They've got the mid control, they've got the penny turret down, and Tomzy goes down alongside it. It's not looking good for Doxter Lobster on a map where, let's be honest, if you're in this kind of position, you're going to struggle to get out. The minecart's a bit of a saving grace, but then it comes back around, and you've got to make a choice. Do you force yourselves forwards and overcommit, or do you wait the timer out whilst your opposition is collecting gems? It's a really difficult one now for Doxter Lobster, who are looking like they are struggling, Teddy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why the Gene isn't playing mid, to be honest. Like, there's a couple maps or very specific drafts where I can see the idea of it, but I feel like you really want those pools, and mid is the position where you're going to get the most opportunities to, hit shots onto people, because you have access to all 3 lanes if people overextend to connect some shots. A couple seconds left in this one, but with the barrel as well, it seems unlikely. Gugu is low, but he's going to juke the final shot, and FA Siege now on match point. Yeah, it's a pretty weird situation here for Doxter Lobster, but now, I mean, they can't mess it up again, otherwise this is going to be a loss.
And this is the thing I have, and the problem that I have is we haven't really seen those matches be really neck and neck consistently. Maybe every now and again we've seen Dr. Lobster with some promise, but at the moment, FA Siege, with all this momentum behind them, with every single game and set win behind them, we need to see some more stuff. Dr. Lobster have got to really start to shine better than they have previously and take more control and have a better start. It's looking like it could be that time, but again, their ability to hold position has also been in question, so they've got to start doing that better as well. 3 gems in the pocket, some early aggressive moments, but they've got to keep this up.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I prefer the draft from Dogster. Yeah. Like, I think they have the upper hand when it comes down to the draft. The execution was just so weird, and I mean, at least we see the Gene mid now, and he's already had just more opportunities to get some damage down. There's a pool available right now as well. So the Breza, a bit of a free kill in that position, and Gugu also, yeah, a bit dangerous to just stand there. Kevin is gonna go down, and much more dominant here from Dogster, but that's what I was expected from the previous game, because I don't really know what that plan was, but it was just a very odd one, and it was not working out. It's much better like this.
Yeah, this is what I expected from Dr. Lobster in set 2, and that's the problem. They can win this game, but they've got to then do so much work. They've got to deny FA Siege continuously of this match point. Great pull there, though, from Kanan, and that's the start of potentially the turnaround if Dr. Lobster can keep this up. But FA Siege, they are an aggressive team. They are able to respond to this, and they know better than most, considering their most recent scorelines and their most recent games, and many of which have gone very much to those clutch finales of being on match point, being denied match point, but persevering through. Now Dr. Lobster with a great position to turn this around, to bring back a set, but they've got to do it on a very challenging map.
Well, they'll have the Gene mid again, and so far the double slow there from Tom is gonna be a problem, and that's gonna give so many free shots to Kanan to reload his super. Gets some more value now as well. Eventually the elimination. Kevin low HP, and yeah, this is much better. I mean, Kanan can go all the way in their spawn to go pick up a gem. That just says how much space Dogster created early on.
Yeah, so much better. The patience and the ability to pinch these corners are working out much better, but look at Kevin, though, in a great spot. Taps onto Kanan. Kanan just about survives on. 6 gems, though, in the pocket is going to buy some valuable time for Dr. Lobster here as Google pops the nest egg. Oh, but it can't be contested. Tomty jumps in, does get the takedown. That will relieve some pressure, but that was a bit hairy for Dr. Lobster, who have now got to escape this spawn trap, and that's what they struggled in the first game.
That's what the Gene pull is for, though, opening things up, and let's see. Oh, Kevin going down there instantly. Man advantage now for Dogster, and a chance to rebuild some mid control. Now, I totally understand the Gene going to lane, because How to Win is sitting on all the gems. A bit of a mispull from Kanan, but no big deal. They're all so low HP on the side of FA Siege, and this should very much be a set going the way of Dogster. Lobster as countdown is initiated. Tom is gonna be quite low HP, but so is Gugu, so is Sword of Breza, and it's taking forever for them to heal up. This is a bit of a nightmare situation for this game here on the side of FA Siege, as Tom goes for the jump in, clears up both, and Dogster will take that third set.
Better late than never, I think, sums that one up perfectly, as denying FA Siege of a match point could harm their ego in that respect. Dr. Lobster finally start to bring things back into the way that we've come to know them as a team, and this is exactly what they needed to do. Under the pressure that FA Siege were able to imply upon them, they were able to stand strong. That's a sign of hope, a sign of promise now, ready, set, coming in to what's to come.
I think so too. I mean, this is very well played by both sides, but Dogster Lobster steal the show. Simply better stats overall, and also I think playing around what we were a little bit auspicious of at first, that Gene and the Bell not playing in their usual scenarios, Bell not taking the lane, Gene not taking the mid, but it turned out to work out. They just had to hit their stride as well. But at first, it was looking very dominant for FA Siege once again. I think, once again, well played by both sides. Dogster Lobster is beginning to get inventive again, and this is what's going to enable them to take down FA Siege. They also were pretty, they're pretty aware of the sort of outrange strategy being used by FA Siege. They brought a Bell, and turns out that's all they needed in order to be prepared.
I like seeing Dr. Lobster with the Gene. That was working out well for them in Brawl, despite them not being able to, have the DPS to back it up to make those goals happen. But they do look like they are feeling more comfortable when there is a Gene in play. I think that could be something to consider, map and mode dependent moving forwards for them, Teddy. But, I mean, this is what we needed to see from them. It's not too late for them to turn this one around. Do you think that this is going to tarnish, FA Siege and their sort of ego, considering that they were, back-to-back sets up until now?
Yeah, I mean, what I really enjoyed here as well is seeing Tom popping off on the Crow. Like, game 2 and 3 of this set, he was all over the place, getting some great slows, getting some great supers as well, securing double kills multiple times with his super. And he's a player that's been a little bit quiet so far in this match, and him waking up and, hopefully waking up his teammates a little bit as well could be the signs of life that we need for them to come back and push things to a 5th set. But as you mentioned earlier, I mean, they still got some work to do. They're still a set behind, and I mean, FA Siege all around have looked better this match.
And when you're trying to get a reverse sweep into motion, the thing that you need is consistency. That's the thing that Dogs to Lobster have really been lacking so far today. So for them to be able to turn this one around, again, it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of work, and this draft has really, really got to be on point.
Well, we'll see what they're picking up here. FA Siege gets the first pick, and they're going for the Colette here for Kaboom Canyon, one that we have not seen in rotation in a while, but one thing that is absolutely paramount here is going to be those wall breakers, especially Colt is one that we see arrive every now and then, but they're also better brawlers for the job, ones that don't necessarily get that wall break for free. We'll see the Max and the Lola pick up from the side of Dogster Lobster, and maybe that wall breaker is going to be coming on later in the draft. Dogster does have that last pick, and they can go for Daryl here if they want. Anything that can cross the water, because it's not just blocks and obstacles that are preventing you from getting to the other side. And good reaction here from FA Siege. Pick up the Gale, pick up the Daryl as well. Eliminate yet another Daryl counter, but they're still playing into the Lola.
Yeah, this is a very scary comp here from FA Siege. I mean, we've seen Daryl Gale dominating on Kaboom Canyon in the last couple of weeks, and it's a very, very threatening comp. I was literally about to say Griff could be a way to deal with it. I mean, his super is amazing at shutting down tanks. Still, I don't know if it's enough. It does tick the box of both having some destruction, because removing those mid walls, they can't win otherwise against this comp. So I like that they have that, but it's still going to be a very challenging, because no matter what your comp is, even if you have triple tank counter, shutting down a Daryl on Kaboom Canyon, it takes a lot of firepower, and it takes just a lot of skill to make it work, because it's such a strong brawler at the moment on this map.
It was a great ban for me from FA Siege there with the B. That was a plan in motion from the very beginning. That's what I worry about now for Dogs to Lobsterers. Again, maybe they've just kind of misread the intentions of FA Siege coming into this. The Lola will help to shred down that Daryl and the Griff as well, but I don't know, I wouldn't have even minded a Pam on the side of Dogs to Lobster realistically here to be able to keep all of ODS low. The problem that they're going to have is that if you look at the way that FA Siege is cycling in continuously, they've got to confirm these kills faster, or this could be over very quickly, Teddy. FA Siege got a great cycle comp.
Yeah, this is a nightmare start already, and I mean, it just feels like everything kind of went according to plan on the side of FA Siege, because realistically, the tank counters, I mean, they banned B, they have both Colette and Gil on their side. There just wasn't many options available for Dogster to try to counter the Daryl, and I mean, sure, they're shutting him down, but they're committing 2 to take him out, and in the meantime, I mean, the rest of FA Siege is just dealing 3 damage on save.
Ego goes out from how to win, and it will help to, get some early damage onto Kevin, and body blocking there on the way back out of that situation wasn't quite there, and pickup was Gugu and Kevin now, which will be able to finish off this safe, and that is going to be it. Match point then for FA Siege, and this is, again, not where Dogs to Lobster wanted themselves to be at all. Off the back of that big win in Minecraft Madness into this situation now, I mean, this is the one actual set that I feel they've been a little bit outcomped in terms of the draft.
Yeah, I just feel like, they could not have made it more clear on the side of FA Siege that they wanted to go Gale Daryl. They banned the B, they picked the Colette. Like, those are like red flags, And it just didn't really feel like Dogster were just reading that, which, I mean, maybe they were and they thought that it would work out, but so far, again, from the get-go, I mean, look at the HP pool on the side of Dogster. They have 2 players still alive, very low HP, pushed back into their spawn, and a 35% lead in favor of Dogster. This is, again, a pretty dominant start, and I do like that piggy bank to at last remove those walls, because they've been a nightmare to take down Gugu. But damage-wise, I mean, damage is done. 71% lead, and we're so early still in the game. 82 now. I think this might just be it, Ark.
GG go next. That's the only thing I've got to say to this. GG go next. I mean, there's an opportunity here for Dogstar to be able to get something, some pressure, some of something, but that is not where you want to start your push when you're already down with only 18% remaining. There's no more time for error, and we were saying that coming into this set for Dogstar Lobster now, as surely it's just a matter of time before FAC's closest one out.
Yeah, this is GG's. Kevin gets the final roll, and eventually they will take the safe down. What a way to go here for FAC. And I have to be honest with you, I don't know if they just forgot about their role or didn't see it coming, or if they overlooked it a little bit, thinking, we'll be fine, we still have a final pick, we can counter it. I'm not sure what the thought process was on the side of Dogstar, but it definitely felt like they played exactly into FAC's plan, and FAC were able to get away with like literally the comp they were hoping for.
Yeah, and you can't do that already. You know, you've got to make sure that you kind of, at least from some of the API details or your research or something, you know, you've got to know what your opposition is at least thinking. And then it's down to your opposition to kind of like, you know, play the bluff and, you know, bring something fresh and new out of the books. But I felt like there for me, Teddy's spot on. You know, FAC got what they wanted, and, you know, at a really crucial moment for Dogstar Lobster where they needed to turn things around, and it was just too little too late.
And I feel like what FAC wanted is what just about everyone wants on this map. You have, maybe the Colette is a little bit questionable, but it's one that we've been seeing as a first pick quite often on this map. But Daryl and Gale, I feel like, is one that a lot of people should be expecting, and no doubt it was expected by Dogs. Usual methods of dealing with it were kind of eliminated in the ban phase.
Yes.
And that was such a huge issue. They didn't have that much time to react, and they weren't able to think as far forward as they usually do. A lot of the draft comes down to instinct, because a lot of pressure is on you when there's a clock ticking, and it's like, if you don't pick the correct brawler, then you're going to lose. And that's how it feels a lot of the time as well, and I'm sure that's no different for these professional players. That said, though, once more, such a strong combo, there's almost no way to deal with it. The Gale jump pad is not just there to get you over the wall, it's to get you in mid. Once the wall's broken open, great, now I get to walk into mid even. That said, the wall break, it wasn't enough to deal with it. The reaction was there, but it simply wasn't enough.
Yeah, and for me, like, again, you know, Teddy, since we've had MSI, we've seen a lot of these ideas coming forwards in this particular map, Kaboom Canyon. I mean, you know, the jump pads, the Darryls, the pressure that it brings off the back of that, but also the beat as a brawler being played. And we tend to see that particular brawler be played a lot here. And it was a smart ban on the side of FSH to eradicate that option early on. I think that's, to be fair, Dogstar Lobster could probably have had a better final pick, actually, than what they went for. But, you know, again, we expected to see more from them today.
Yeah, we certainly did. I mean, just coming back, I think Griff was all right. Like, I like the idea. I just feel like the mistake happened before that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. they should have had a bit more of a safety net to deal in case, you know, you get a Daryl or Gale. And they just didn't, because Max and Lola, they're good brawlers. They're just not very anti-tanky, you know? But in general, I think this final set kind of summarized the performance from Dogstar Lobster today. Like, kind of underwhelming and feeling like they were kind of just playing into anything that FAC were throwing at them. Like, Knockout was the same, you know? Every time FAC would aggress, you would have that counter-aggression from Dogstar Lobster, and FAC, their initial aggression was not really like, you know, where they were hoping to get a kill. They were playing for that counter. They would see the PAM. That's how the PAM died every time. Because every time FAC pushed the PAM, was like, okay, I gotta go flank and help my teammates. Every time they did, it was like instant bell mark and getting tree tapped, or, you know, suddenly everyone from FAC turns onto her. And it's kind of that overall taunt that FAC, they were just reading through Dogstar Lobster and making them fall into so many traps that they couldn't overcome it.
Dogstar did not keep their guard up, and that was their demise. Well, one more game still to come for today, and boy, is it going to be a big one. Reply Totem up against Team Kesso, and this is the matchup that Reply Totem need to win to qualify for the finals. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.
Welcome to Real or Fake. Here's how it works. The player is given a prompt that contains information from Brawl Stars. The player then decides whether it's real or fake. If the player decides that it's fake, the player has to point out which part of it is fake. Points are awarded for correctly identifying the prompts. Let's see how they did.
Hello, I am Inso and I'm the coach of Reply Totem. Sweet dreams. Send an attack from also opponents to the deep for 1 second. They would however wake up from any damage. No. Yeah, I think it's true. Because like if you eat them, they wake up from the stun. Yeah, I think it's true. Like it's true. My bad. Just 1 second. Yeah, it's 1 second. I figured it out lately. After. Wow. Rough puts a barrage over a target area, dealing 700 damage with each. Icon is good, description looks good. I don't know if it's air support or like airstrike, but I'll go with air support. I think this one is true. What is it? The name? Oh yeah, I guess. I look so bad as a coach actually with these questions. No, I like the icon is wrong for sure. It's false. Let's go. Vengeful Spirit. King shoots a homing inside. At a visible point within the large area. Deal up to 1000 damage. I think this one is true. Looks good. The name is good. Icon is good. Yeah, I think it's correct. Oh yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's kind of the same though. Like, length is kind of. Producer is current edge. No, the icon is wrong for sure. It's a brick wall. Go. Already better than last week. I mean, probably both the icon and the name then, I guess.
They don't want it with me. You got a problem with me? Love, you don't want it with me. Man, you won't ever stop me. Who y'all really got a problem with? Who y'all really trying to solve them with? Who don't really like the sound of this? Who come with me getting down to this? You better step back, get your neck cracked, get laid down where you best step. Better check that with a fresh map. Get lost now with no extract. Like, look, that's all me. Got my number, don't call me. We eating up, that's all beef. You freezing up, that's y'all's team. Cause we don't really lose no more. All about heating up, leaving that cold. You can see me heating up, killing that show. I ain't about giving up, no.
Welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series for Brawl Stars in the EU and MENA region. We're almost done for today, but not quite done yet. One more match still to come. It's Reply Totem up against Team Kesso, and this is a big one, guys. We've been talking about this from the very beginning of the show. This matchup is so important for Reply Totem because it could lead them into the finals, whereas it's also the same of importance for Team Kesso because they have the chance of denying a team that have had a clean sheet so far in this competition.
It's true. I mean, Team Kesso, they've taken 2 0-3 losses in a row, and that really has to hurt. Reply Totem, they've taken only 3 0s with the exception of SK, which was a 3-2, and those are the only 2 sets that they've dropped in this entire competition. Totem is absolutely on fire. Kesso, they've had some rough matches. I think that they can start to get back on their feet, but versus Totem, it's cool.
Yeah, it's the titan of this region, as I like to say, Teddy. You know, they have had such a strong run of things. Reply Totem, you know, coming into Split 2, we saw just that big shift. And, you know, the scariest part was at the beginning that shift may have been put down to being, you know, iDog Joker coming in. But now, it's like, you know, having watched Reply Totem, especially throughout the BSC, it's now become the Reply Totem show. I love that for them. And you know, in regards to Team Kesso and how they've been performing recently, do you think that they've got the ability to take down a team like Reply Totem?
I mean, I think it's possible. The stats don't really go their
like
way. No, hear me out. I think they have a chance because traditionally Team Keizo have been able to do pretty well against Reply Totem. The only problem is Reply Totem are looking incredible at the moment, and Team Keizo, yeah, it's kind of all over the place. I mean, they came into the season and the big topic was how consistent they are. Ever since they started playing in SPS, they've been anything but consistent. So I don't know. I really don't know. I'm hoping that we can get, you know, the best performance from Team Keizo, but they have let me down a little bit on my expectations lately. So I'm really hoping to see the best Team Keizo. We'll have to see if they can make it happen.
I agree. You know, for me, Team Kesso at the moment have just, you know, I don't want to say dropped off, but definitely, like you put it, like lacking in consistency, I feel. Despite, you know, actually at the moment being in a position where, compared to some of the other teams, they're bang in the middle, you know, with their results, you know, 2-2. You know, Reddy, with regards to how they're sitting and in regards to what they've got still to come, still to play for, how do you think they're faring?
I mean, I would say they're doing okay off of those first 3 matches. It's totally understandable to go down to Tribe 0-3. They have Lana seriously finding his footing on that team, but going 0-3 to Craze, who we saw once again had a tough match today and ended up once more settling a little bit further down on that leaderboard. It's not really a good look. I feel like they can once more pick themselves up and get some good victories off of this, but the more likely reality is that Reply Totem takes a victory, and Team Keizo more than anything have to pick up some set victories here, because at the moment that's the one thing keeping them above FA Siege.
The thing that's scary for me here, Teddy, is that if Team Kesso get this win today, how that will resonate through and how that could potentially change everything else that could come. I mean, you know, if they're coming into this one prepared and Reply Totem maybe, you know, because of where they are currently in the leaderboards, are coming in relaxed, that could be something which could absolutely turn this region on its head.
Oh, definitely. So, I mean, especially for teams like FA Baguette and Dogster that lost against Team Keizo in their head-to-head. So if we were to come down to a tie for that 4th spot later on, it could be massive. So right now, I mean, everyone besides, you know, Team Keizo are hoping for Reply Totem to win this one, because Reply Totem, it seems incredibly unlikely that they're not going to be qualifying at this point. This is their chance today to secure it. But for most of the other teams, they're not really a threat anymore, because they're kind of like, you know, a step ahead of the competition. Team Keizo, on the other hand, still very much threatening the other team. So yeah, right now, Team Keizo, they really want this win, but the rest of the bracket, not really.
Yeah, I agree. It's starting, or rather sitting high and mighty on the leaderboard. And, you know, I think it's, from what we've seen from Reply Totem leading up to today, it would be an insane thing for, you know, Team Kesso to take the win. I think that's fair to say. I mean, they haven't missed a trick. They haven't missed any of the marks along the way. All the Split 2 cups were theirs. I mean, they had so many grand final wins. You know, if Team Kesso do this, I mean, you know, I believe in Team Kesso's supremacy leading out today. You know, ready, set, give us your predictions. Give us like in fact, not just your predictions, but give us like a fine-tuned idea as to what it is. Is it 50-50, 60-40? Where's your head at?
I'm kind of going 20 for Keizo and 80 for Totem, because I still believe, like you, in supremacy for Team Keizo. I really want to believe in these guys, because we've seen so much great stuff from them in the past, and it really hurts to see such a great team fall off, but I don't think they've fallen off. I think that they've had some rough matches. Craze, maybe forget about that one for just a moment here, conveniently. And they just have to find their way once again. It was a tough loss, and Craze still hasn't managed to get a win since then. So hopefully that doesn't have too much influence on our game today.
Same question, Teddy. Give us a percentage figure of your predictions.
I'm going to be a little nicer to Team Keizo than Reddy. I'm going to say 70-30. You know, I feel like that's pretty much where I'm sitting here, because Totem are, by, you know, no doubts, they're not the favorite. You know, obviously they're favorite here in this situation. On Team Keizo, I know they can win this, but I mean, realistically, it's going to be a challenging match. And I feel like unless Totem is actually playing kind of bad or having an off day, which they haven't had many since Joker has joined. Yeah, if any. I feel like they kind of need that to win on Team Kaizo. That says a lot about how strong Totem is at the moment.
Yeah. Well, Team Kaizo roster coming thick and fast in case you're not, or maybe forgotten what their lineup is. Rafa, Blacksea, Alias, Shay, and Javi, and curious what the lineup will be for their playing situation today. But all of these players, really are dangerous. I love how Rafa and Blacksea are so aggressive on their more daring drafts that we tend to see from this particular team. But recently, it hasn't been paying off in the way that it did at the beginning of the season, where we used to see Rafa just going on mad tears as Mortis and Blacksea just absolutely clearing up lane as Leon. Recently, maybe teams are becoming a bit more accustomed to the playstyle and the things that Team Kaizo like to draft, and maybe that's one of the reasons why they're struggling a little bit recently.
And that's one of the greatest challenges in Brawl esports, where things are changing up so frequently. You absolutely have to stay ahead of the curve. That's the only way to stay on top. So you have to consistently be changing up what your strengths are and things like that. Now, does that mean that Rafa and Blacksea won't be able to do their same thing? No, they just need maybe some different support, some variations in the brawlers that they play as well. There's a very clear direction, I think, for Team Kaizo. The question is, are they able to muster that right now? Are they able to keep up with the pace of this meta?
Yeah, especially because Reply Totem are a team that's so unforgiving. They're so ruthless when it comes to everything in which they throw at everyone else that tries to take them on. I fully agree. I think Team Kaizo today, they need to let go of some of their safe picks, some of their kind of go-to ideas, and try to take take Reply Totem by surprise.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like, in the last couple of months, Team Kaizo have had the tendency to kind of stick to their guns a little too often, go for fairly predictable and just, repeated picks that at some point make it a little easy to predict and work around with counter. So, yeah, I'm hoping to see maybe a little bit more spice in their drafts this time around.
Yeah, I mean, Reply Totem, again, it's almost so little to say about them because, again, without any losses, it's just a clean sheet in that respect. But, I just love the way that this team have just risen to the plate, and they really are, again, harnessing a lot of their aggression, and again, through a lot of team support in the background. If you're not familiar with Reply Totem, where have you been? But if you are not, here's the roster. Fresh off the back of a big BSC monthly final victory, and of course, qualifying over the weekend for the next one. It's Inso, Maori, Joker, and Maru. Inso being the coach and the mastermind behind the team, but again, I've got to say, Teddy, this has been a joy to watch their progression. After some team roster changes, now everything just seems to be falling into place.
Oh, absolutely. So, the meta as well is something that they love, like max heavy comps, Carl, all brawlers that they will abuse as much as they can. So I really like where Totem is at right now. They're looking very strong. The brawler pool fits their own skill set very well. And so doing an amazing job at building all of that and tying all of that together to come up with some very weird comps at times. We see things that they do that no one else really does and pick, but more often than not, it still works, and it makes them even more unpredictable to counter in those drafts. And at the moment, they are by no doubt, any doubt, the best team in the region. Team Kaizo, they can win because, every team is going to have an off day or poor performance, or Team Kaizo could absolutely pop off. But on paper, at the moment, Totem are just so good.
Yeah, exactly. Their attention to draft is the thing that I've really admired in their progressive journey throughout the weeks to come. They've just, they approach it in such a different way, and like you say, they experiment a lot. I mean, and also I've seen them play some really outlandish ideas, which make me question a lot about what they were even thinking. And I think it was Poker they were playing in Brawl Ball once, and Inso was the first to say we had no idea, we tried it out, it didn't work. I love that attention to honesty, but let's first and foremost hear what they had to say today regarding their rivals.
Well, Team Queso haven't been performing well lately, but I mean they're still a top team, so I think we can't underrate them, and we'll be focusing hard on their match like as we do with the other ones. And
the deepest voice in Brawl coming through there, and so of course, the spokesman for the team. But I do like the way that Reply present themselves. Very, very modest, very calm and collected. And I had the pleasure, of course, of interviewing Joker back in the Open Finals 2 in DreamHack, and Joker is an incredibly interesting individual. Like 16 years of age, speaks 6 languages.
That's fascinating, and that's one of the other things about Totem is not only are they multi-talented, but they're very organized. Their roles are very, very clear. When it comes down to who's the pop-off, who's the aggro, it's Joker that pops off, and then Mari, they're there at the sidelines, they're playing support, enabling him, giving him a solid platform on which to stand, and then you have Inso, who's the mastermind behind all the drafts as well, trying things out and not afraid to take risks as well, and somehow that ends up with him on top.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think as well we had asked the same question to Team Queso, but we have the head-to-head up next as well. Let's just compare these two teams to see how they are shaping up to be. Very close. In fact, actually, Teddy, that's scary close when you look at the difference in terms of their leaderboard position.
Yeah, that's unnoticeably close, really. Like, it's there's very, very little in it. I would say again that, I mean, I already talked a little bit about Reply Totem as we had their stats at the beginning of the show. I think their ability to capitalize on kills, to capitalize on damage is incredible. Like every time they get a kill, there's like something that follows up and how effective. And I think that's, one of the points that a lot of teams need to improve on at the moment. For sure, they're getting a lot of kills and they're doing good, but you really want to convert into, winning those games, and just getting kills is not always enough, especially if, you're pushed back in your spawn. You're gonna get kills over that in that position, but all the time that it took to get pushed back in your spawn is space that you gave up, and even if you win get the kill in the end, you did still lose on the engagement itself and on the long-term implication for the game.
Well, drop in for Canal Grande. It's gonna be bans of the Max, the Janet, and the Jean on the side of Team Queso. Jean, Gale, and Surge on the side of Reply Totem. We've seen Team Queso do this with the Eve in Canal Grande before. It didn't pay off, to my last recollection, in Playday 4. Daryl, Carl, and Bell, I think it's a fierce one there, really.
It's very, very scary, and also we see that Gale has been banned out, so has Surge, so has Jean. Literally, those are the counters to Carl. Those are the go-to counters for Carl, and they would be great here if Queso could have picked them up. But Queso, they're seemingly not even really going to play a counter to Carl. They're not going to play a counter to Daryl, and the best that they've got versus Bell is going to be these 3 sharpshooters. They simply don't have a whole lot of health, though, and it's going to be challenging for them to get mid because it comes free. It comes with the package when you pick up Carl. He's going to immediately flying hook into mid, and there's one bush down. And now it's up to Queso to hopefully win that other side, get it for free, unless Bell is able to spice things up, and maybe even Daryl as well, Teddy.
Yeah, this should be a free blue star as well for Reply Totem with the Daryl, and yeah, Joker is going to be the one to get it. I actually kind of like Eve on this map. It's definitely a brawler that I can see being dominant if played well, but facing a Carl, for example, it's kind of a nightmare. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I remember what Ark pointed out earlier, that Team Queso played the Eve on this map last time, not even against the Carl, and still lost. Now against the Carl, I just don't really see too many situations where they're going to be winning this one.
and there's no counterplay either. Rafa has to escape. He has to use that super, which would usually be used for aggression, and he's going to get pinched really hard. Joker doesn't even suffer more than a scratch and stays alive. Team Queso do have 3 stars to their name, but this bush they're all working for is completely infested. We will see Joker actually have to retreat. Good kill here for Team Queso. Roll in for Maru, and he will be able to get the kill. Another super for him, but he's not going to be making it out of Blacksea's clutches, and Ala SSJ on the left side gets to throw down some of these hatchlings as well. That to be dealt with both by Mary and by Joker. And Team Queso now have control of mid. They have the outrange, which is the most important thing, and Ala SSJ can stir up some real trouble here at mid since he can float everywhere, and he'll be relatively untouchable by Maru. So as long as this turret stays up and is locking down one of the lanes, and Ala SSJ and Rafa can lock down the right side, things will be going relatively well. They simply have to be able to defend themselves in close range, which is going to be tough versus Joker, but not impossible because he's been forced to run power throw instead of protective pirouette.
Wow, Maru in a really good position. He gets the kill, does get traded out. Thing is, no more gadgets on the penny, so a Daryl roll or even the Carl could be very threatening, but it seems like somehow Team Queso are going to make this one work, and I'm going to be honest with you. Oh, got a little scary there towards the end, but still fairly alright here for Team Queso. I think there were some kind of big mistakes on the set of Reply Totem. I mean, Maru at some point had his super, could have just rolled out of there. Instead, he waited to get hit by the Penny Mortar, then used his super and died mid-super because he just didn't have the HP to tank anymore. Like, those kind of moments I feel like were more Reply Totem's mistakes rather than Team Queso actually, you know, being better in that engagement. I guess they were better, but you know what I mean, like, kind of choke moments like that. We'll have to see if Reply Totem are able to just get those sort of mistakes out of the way for the second game, or if Team Queso are gonna end up taking the set.
Oh my gosh, Blacksea's on a rampage. He is going to get taken down for a whole lot of stars too. Rafa also feeling a whole lot of damage, and Mary gets a takedown. Ala SSJ trying to compete at similar range to Joker, but they are at almost the same range. And when Joker has that speed gear, it's going to give him more effective range as well. He has the same range as Rafa, and it's going to be dealing so much to Rafa, who can't even see who he's supposed to be firing at. Ala SSJ also trying to stick on the left side to help go for some pinches, but the control of both bushes belongs to Reply Totem. Here comes a super in by Rafa. There's the kill as well. Maru rolls away from Rafa, and he's almost going to get taken down, but he rolls out just at the right time, and that's what we needed to see in the previous game as well. Reply Totem, at times, they were overcommitting just a little bit, and Team Queso don't seem to be finding those opportunities anymore. Joker has a super. He can flying hook anywhere he so pleases, but he's got to be aware of the counterplay that's available. As long as Rafa does not have a super, it's going to be a pretty vulnerable target, though good tags on the right side by Mary will keep this dominantly in Reply Totem's lead. Still 30 seconds remain, and already a pickup onto Mary. And Team Queso get to push up really close. This is the spawn trap of Canal Grand, but will they be able to hang on to it and profit?
Yeah, right now they still need a couple of kills, and Joker is sitting on a lot of stars, so they can take him down, and Mari, that would be enough. So far, they aren't quite getting the finish. Eventually, Rafa does, but he's marked up and low HP, and Joker, he's low as well. Got a little bit scary. I mean, he could have afforded to go down at that point, but still, I mean, I expected the set to be pretty straightforward for Reply Totem, considering that they have the call here, which I think is just insane, because call is amazing in the first place, but when it's a map where he's literally like so good on as well, it's taking it to the next level. I think Team Queso have been holding on quite decently, but that was already a different story than game one.
Well, to reinforce what you've already said, a lot of these feel like Reply Totem's mistakes rather than Team Queso's good plays, but Blacksea has been going crazy on this penny. He's been hitting so many shots, he's getting great visibility on people in bushes, and he's throwing down that turret relatively quickly, but he needs to get it now. He does get a good prediction onto Joker. He needs to get at least another couple of shots before he can fire up that turret and provide a lot more pressure versus Mary. Here's the turret, and it's going to go in not too defensive of a position. It's going to be a nice lure as he sets a trap hopefully getting Maru onto this left side. Also, Joker needs a super. There it comes, and he's already going to cycle onto the right side. Rafa forced a super upwards, gets tagged up by that last bit of damage from Maru, and now Reply Totem can afford to play relatively defensively, though I don't think they're going to retreat back into that same position where they nearly got pinched at the end of the last game. Got very, very close, and Blacksea can start pushing them back with his super if he decides to place it a little bit differently, and there he does. Joker on the right side has to retreat. Mari need to stay in these bushes so they don't get targeted.
Yeah, there's only 2 stars in it, and with Maru isolated from the rest of the team, this could be scary for the ladies. Blacksea is 1, there's the trade, 2 stars still in favor of Reply Totem. Let's see if Team Keizo can find a big impact kill. Mark connects onto Rafa, the turret is placed down. Joker gonna be forced to super away from there, but a solid connection from Maru, and the Bell Shot are gonna be securing yet another kill. Maru should be dealt with. 1 star making the difference as Team Keizo, they got about 12 seconds left to get a kill and turn things around.
Ala SSJ might be the one to snag that kill. He can fire up here at mid, but there's so much health available to the enemy team. A shield as well for Maori. Blacksea needs to get some damage. Will he be able to? Joker is going to go down, and that's going to be a blue star victory for Team Keizo. So close here at the end, but I agree with the star player here. Blacksea completely stole the show for me. It seems like there were mistakes made by practically everyone during this last set. Even Reply Totem made some mistakes, but Blacksea completely flawless.
Man, 1 star difference in the entire set, isn't it? That's ridiculous stuff, honestly. Yeah, very, very close. But, I mean, Team Keizo, it does look so far like things are kind of going the way I was talking about, where Reply Totem, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've seen more convincing performances from them, and on the other side, it felt like Team Keizo were playing pretty well too, so this is the sort of arrangement that could lead to Team Keizo actually taking this match.
This is the 3rd set that Reply Totem has conceded, and they didn't concede a single one versus some other top teams in this competition. Team Keizo is going to be number 3 after SK takes a couple, and who knows, maybe Team Keizo will take all 3. This has been a pretty good start, and Totem are just looking a little bit offbeat. Not really looking like their usual selves, and we saw a really strong draft from them too, but mistakes were made here and there, and also Team Keizo played pretty solidly, especially Blacksea.
So I'm going to pick holes at both teams. So the thing I don't understand is, like, this is almost the same comp that Reply Totem stomped over SK in over the last BSC Monthly Final, almost. They had the Surge, they had the Bell, and they also had the Daryl to combine it. So just lacking the Surge, but Maru was insane in that matchup. So, like, Team Keizo came in with a little bit of a lack of attention to what Reply Totem would want to be doing in terms of the drafts. And again, I say stomped on SK like with a bit of hesitation because most teams can't, and no one goes in to describe it that way. But then on the other side of things, I don't know why Maru then rolled down the map in those final moments, because that was ultimately what led over some stars, which, as we saw at the very end of that matchup, came back full circle to harm Reply Totem in the biggest way possible. I think it's a credit to Team Keizo with the way that they dealt actually with what is a very, very fierce comp that Reply Totem bring out of the playbook every now and again. But I just feel like those stars were the deciding factor in the matchup.
I think so too. We'll see, though, how things pan out on Backyard Bowl, because just like Bounty, this one goes the distance. You're guaranteed 2.5 minutes on Bounty, and you're practically guaranteed 3.5 minutes on Backyard Bowl. This one's going all the way into overtime unless someone has something to say about it. A really fast and speedy comp, but we already see the Crow ban by Reply Totem. They want to enable the max, and Team Keizo says, okay, but like, what if it weren't possible? But also, let's keep Crow out of the equation. He's a little annoying. Also, the Carl ban by Team Keizo is quite prudent. The Bonnie first pick is going to be great for Reply Totem to get things going in the early game, and we see the Leon plus the Byron pickup by Team Keizo. I think this is going to enable maybe a 3rd sharpshooter if Team Keizo so wish. If not, it's totally fine. Byron's a great way to accent Leon in close range. We'll see what the response is from Reply Totem.
Yeah, I like the Bunny pick a lot. I feel like it's kind of the perfect sort of map for her, right? Because she can play the range, but then she's also an enabler that can just jump in and open things up for a team, have some opportunities to score like that. So I think it's a very threatening brawler on this map. Janet is as well. So, so far, I like what I'm seeing from Reply Totem. Really playing by the meta, but I mean, if anything, I feel like it's just kind of more solid, at least, than the Leon and Byron, in my opinion.
Well, we'll see the next pickup too. Jean also coming in here. Maybe to soft counter some tank play, we will see the Pam as well. That turret is going to be very, very useful for locking things down. It's also going to be great for applying some pressure when you get to the goal. Mama's Squeeze is pretty much the only thing you're going to be running in competitive when it comes to Pam. And with that damage she's able to apply with her turret, you place it right outside of their spawn. There's about nothing that they can do about it unless Jean decides to get a little creative and break things open, get a pull onto that turret. I think that's quite unlikely, but I don't think it's very unlikely that Jean goes for some pulls on Pam's turret at mid to break things open, make things open for himself, give Janet, give Bonnie some more viability too. But really one of the main struggles, I believe, for Reply Totem is going to be taking out that Byron, since he's going to be hanging out on the backline so often and only amplifying the amount of healing that Pam is usually able to muster.
Yeah, those lollipop drops, it's going to be annoying to take out for the least, as their positioning is just kind of out of range of anyone, and there's just not really much they can do to deal with it at this point. Eventually, first one goes down, a nice pick up on the left-hand side, jump in from Maori, and that's what I was talking about when I said enabling, you know. You get a kill and you can capitalize off that. Either you go for a second kill or you jump forwards and go for the ball, and that's exactly what we saw there from Reply Totem. 40 seconds to find a goal in backyard roll is impressive.
Well, we will see already Team Queso kind of shifting gears. They're going to place this lollipop drop on the left side, go very aggressive. Last lollipop drop coming down as well. Mary taking some damage, but no kills just yet. Here's the Invisi-Heal by Blacksea. SSJ will get the pass forward. A little bit of tanked damage. Will he be able to put it in the goal? Does look like it. Rafa closes in from the right side, and very well done here by Team Queso to make this happen just a little bit faster than Reply Totem was able to score a goal. But how will things develop? Rafa still needs to get a super to get himself some more survivability at mid. SSJ, though, does seem to be winning the long-range matchup, and Joker has a super, though he's not going to use it just yet. He's not even going to be able to get in range. Blacksea also playing quite timidly on the right side. I'm not exactly sure what is going on because Mary's able to focus down 2 lanes, but maybe Blacksea is hoping that need to be reloaded by the time he pushes in. Still, though, hanging on to a super. Team Queso playing this very, very, very safely, and not a whole lot of action, I'm not going to lie, Teddy.
Yeah, I mean, it's more what I was expecting from backyard ball so far. Jump in from Maori, but ball is out of the way now. Maru flying up to the rescue, but still, I mean, the positioning is pretty good here for Team Queso. The pass to Rafa, and he can just walk in beautiful stuff there from Team Queso, and they'll take the game. And what seemed like, you know, I would say that overall, Totem just don't look like their usual selves. You know, they're winning, they're losing lanes, they're like struggling here and there, and I don't know. I mean, this is probably one of the weakest showings I've seen of them so far, and I know it's only been like 3 games or 4 games, but still, I find that, yeah, they don't look as convincing as they usually do, and this might be their first day off, as we were talking about earlier.
And they seem to have gotten pretty much the ideal picks. Maori, though, will be able to open things up. Can he receive the pass? Big question here. He's going to run this over to the right side, bait some shots out of Rafa, bait out a little bit more, pass in, but no goal. They're going to try and get some better ball positioning. 3v1 here. Rafa's going to try and make it happen with his scrap sucker, but what they needed to do was rotate out SSJ, run some seconds off the clock. Another really fast goal here for Reply Totem, but they might have run out of gas. Who can really tell? They used their gadgets very quickly at the beginning of the last game. Rafa is going to be throwing in this turret, getting some pressure. Maru going to actually get a kill on the back lines. SSJ can no longer heal. Rafa can't pinch in on the right side. That's how this usually goes for Team Queso, as we've seen happen both times in the last game. It happens the same way every single time. Blacksea charges in with Invisi-Heal, SSJ healing from a distance, huge tanks by Pam on the right side, and then eventually they're able to take enough damage to walk into the goal. And they might be able to muster it once again. SSJ does have the heals. Rafa has the aggressive turret. Blacksea trying to power in on the left side, but the ball is very concealed and protected. And there are 2 stuns available to Joker. He's going to use one, doesn't fire off the pull. Rafa needs to get a pass over to the left side, and that's going to be it. Team Queso will be tying things up here, and we'll return back to mid for the next pitch.
Wow, impressive stuff from Team Queso. Let's see if they can take the game before overtime and potentially even the entire set in that case. We do have the pull available onto Joker, and I would assume running vision gear, which, you know, you would want to do against a lollipop drop. Let's see. He does have pool still, and no one is really lined up for it. The aggression from Team Queso, well played healing station. At last the pool comes through, but Rafa, it just takes forever to take him down. A big kill from Ari, though. This is a big opportunity. The pass doesn't come true yet. Plenty of time there. Maybe a hesitation, but that's going to make sure that there's no goal just yet here. And Pool is going to open things up, take down Rafa eventually. But still, I mean, I feel like they could have sealed the deal there. Let's see. We see the cannon form coming back from Ari. I thought maybe a charge shot would be the way to go. But I mean, the cannon in overtime, definitely going to be a good option.
2 supers available to reply totem. They can super in anytime they like, but they're going to play it cautiously. It's still a 3v3. 3 supers on the side of reply totem. Pass forward, LSSJ passes up to Blacksy, but he's not able to put it in the corner in time. And reply totem will fire back with a victory of their own. Well done for reply totem, though it did look pretty scary. Every time we've seen a goal, it's happened just about the same way. When it comes to Team Queso, they have Pam pressure in on the right side with the super. They have Invisi heal from Leon on the left side, and then Byron healing at a distance. When it comes to reply totem, they get good value on the Bonnie super. They go directly onto Byron, and then there's a super pass up. It's happened the exact same way with the exception of that overtime goal every single time. These teams, I wonder if they can even wisen up to the strategy, because it seems to be a surefire victory every single time each of them run their respective strategies.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know, I mean, even though reply totem took that game, it wasn't very convincing. Like, the end was pretty messy, I would say. Like, you know, they supercharged they super shot the ball, but then Joker pulled another player instead of the one that would have caught the ball, you know what I mean? Like, kind of moments like that where I feel like on a good, or like on a regular reply totem day at this point, they should make that much more clean. I mean, they made it work, so I'll be happy about that. So far, this is the most stalemate game we've had in this backyard bowl set, as we're a minute in, and we've really not had any team even have a super. That's going to be the first one there onto Joker, but let's see if he can find a connection to maybe finally open things up.
Well, starting to realize is that these goals, they are extremely fast and impossible to defend, and they're only possible if the enemy team has the correct supers. And it's going to come down to whether Maori gets his super to lead this charge, because we already see something for Joker. Big damage on the right side. Rafa still has to play a little bit timid because he can't push in, especially with the super, or rather the gadget down for Maru. He's going to be kept at range, but he has a super of his own. Blacksy invisible on the left side. We might see Maori jump out. He's not going to be able to pressure Maori out of his shell. LSSJ coming in for some support as well, but Team Queso has to maintain pretty good distance from Byron as well. And here's the pass up to the right side. Rafa getting a whole lot of healing. Almost no value on the super there for Maru, unfortunately. But here's the super as well for Joker. He's going to have to stick on the right side or the left side, but he can't play mid because he can't destroy these walls. 30 seconds left. And Team Queso need to pick up some supers if they want to pressure reply totem in enough to get a goal in OT.
Yeah, overtime seems more and more likely at this point. We're heading towards the 15 final seconds of the countdown. And slowly, things should be opening up. A missed pull there from Joker. That's big. He's been sitting on it for a long time as well. Rafa does get shut down. Jump in from Maori. Picks up the kill onto LSSJ. Pass towards him. It's only Blacksy there to defend. They're trying their best to slot it in, and they seems like they will, as reply totem take the set in the end. Quite a scrappy set, to be completely honest. It did not feel like, you know, the dominant totem that we've been seeing for the last couple of months now. But, I mean, better to take it than to lose it, for sure. So they'll be happy about that in the end, and it's an important set to take to not give too much of an early lead to Team Queso, because realistically, it seemed pretty likely that Team Queso would, you know, pick up their second set before reply totem even pick up their first.
It was starting to look that way, but reply totem fired back very, very well, and we saw scrappy is pretty much how I would describe it as well, but the goal scoring strategies proved to be basically true every single time. Every single time there was a Bonnie super, it got a kill onto Byron, and every single time Byron fell, the entire rest of the team sort of crumbled like dominoes beyond there. When it came to Team Queso, we've already covered this. They scored a goal the exact same way every single time. They knew how to play the comp that they drafted, and they played it very well. It was simply, I think, mechanic stiff here by reply totem, which is pretty much the situation that we would usually expect to find them in. So at least we're seeing them catch on to their normal form as well after a first set loss to Team Queso.
The thing is, though, for me, is like I wouldn't be at all surprised if it was a 2-0 in favor of Team Kesso at this point. Reply Tome do not look like themselves today at all. In fact, this is probably the moment of the competition where actually there's a big possibility now that I've seen the teams and how they've come in today and how they're Reply Tome could well be in trouble here, especially if Team Kesso start to continue this kind of level of consistency which they've lacked in previous weeks.
No, I'm absolutely with you. I mean, I feel like this is the poorest showing of Reply Totem in months, honestly, since Joker joined the roster. I haven't really seen them struggle this much. Like, the synergy was just not really there for the most part, so hopefully that gets caught up on for the rest of this match. But on the side of Team Keizo, I mean, they're gonna have to try to abuse it as much as possible. A Bunny first pick on their side after Piper, Max, and Brock Bans for Team Keizo. Totem removing the Bell, the Carl, and the Janet.
Well, I'm liking the Rico pick a whole lot. Bell's Rock is a spectacular map for this brawler. Gene also going to provide a whole lot of value. And we've seen in the previous sets, it hasn't been that amazing for Reply Totem. But when things are actually forced in by that poison, provided that Reply Totem survive that long, and provided that's also the strategy that they decide to go for, it's going to be fantastic. I'm curious about the Sprout pick here from Queso, because Gene is kind of a counter to Sprout. When you have that super, you are going to get to pull Sprout wherever and whenever you want, and that's quite dangerous. I'm not too much of a fan of the Sprout, but maybe it's also to try and bait out some stuff from Reply Totem, but knowing them, they're pretty likely to actually pick a tank for the last pick. But in the past, the Daryl has not worked too well for them if you reference Canal Grand. I would love to see tech here for Reply Totem. Honestly, I'm surprised, to be fair, it's been banned or picked so far. But one thing you've got to say about the Team Kisser comp so far is that it kind of lacks some aggression, I feel. Like, Reply Totem's comp is a long-term comp. It's a comp designed to survive a long time in Bell's Rock. So let's see what they go for in the final pick. It could be a Ruffs as well, actually. That'd be a great pairing, to be honest, with the Gene and the Rico as well. Bo, none of those ideas that I thought, but still equally a brawler which is so rife in terms of the meta. Kind of just confused a little bit where Team Kessler were at in that draft, because personally, Teddy, I do prefer what Reply Totem were thinking in terms of both their picks and their bans.
Yeah, I'm a little confused, because as Reddy said, I feel like Sprout into Gene is a little odd to me, and in general, the draft from Totem is like always a little too plain for what I expect from a Reply Totem draft, which usually has a little bit more spice to it, where here it seems very default-ish, you know, kind of just meta picks, very standard. It's not a bad draft. I don't know. It just doesn't really, seem the most exciting draft that I've seen from Reply Totem in a while.
Well, we'll see if Reply Totem are able to make it exciting for the spectators, and maybe even for Team Queso too. So far, gradually farming up their supers as well. Blacksea and Ala SSJ on the left side. Looks like Blacksea is fighting a pretty much exact same matchup here on the left side, but he is able to pick up a few shots here and there. It's not going to get him that much closer to his ego. Ala SSJ doing a great job versus the Rico, and perhaps this is exactly what the Sprout is for, to be able to 3-tap Joker at mid. But so far, Joker has managed to push through with the Sprout super on the left side. We see Mary is pretty much blocked off. Blacksea getting great dodges too. Here comes the Ego and the freeze frame also, but he's gonna have to dodge out some of these mines, trip them and set them off. No way did we just see that. Unbelievable. When your enemies start scouting out the mines, I don't know, I guess just pop a tripwire so they don't even realize they're on top of a mine. Very well done here by Reply Totem, very creative, and while it's playing on the surface, it's certainly not playing when it gets on the battlefield. They're gonna be taking this first round.
My goodness, that was very, very, like, back and forth, but not really back again. You know what I mean? Like, it started off really dominant from Team Keizo. At some point, I thought they were gonna, like, get them all down before the gas even spawned, but somehow Reply Totem, just beautiful comeback there. Let's see if they can keep it up. A great super from Joker, and the elimination from Mary follows up. Good stuff here. 2 versus 3, and now a pull onto Rafa should secure it. Yeah, they will make it a 3 versus 1. And I mean, Reply Totem, this is kind of what I'm expecting more from them, you know, that sort of dominance. And this is really, really strong from them here. I like it a lot.
Well, a kill on a Joker is going to start things off, but SSJ is firmly pinched. He's not going to be able to dodge this out. He is checkmated, and that is going to be this game headed the opposite way. Reply Totem will be taking a game number 1. Very well done, and pretty inventive stuff, too. I think the tripwire pretty much came out of nowhere, and it was very unexpected, and I mean, not even Team Queso saw it coming, but you also got to consider what supers are you really trying to charge up, because that super totem is going to get eliminated really, really fast. You have to switch up a lane with someone as well, or you have to relegate them to sitting in spawn and fight a 2v3 for a good portion of the game. I think it's a good shout to actually go for it, that first gadget, or rather the second gadget with tripwire instead. We'll see, though, if it fools Team Queso once again. So far, Reply Totem is getting great pressure, but they might get locked out. Joker is going to have to force himself over to the right side by the looks of things. LSSJ getting good damage, too. Rafa with a slight outrange, but the positioning belongs to Reply Totem.
Yeah, and a big pickup there after that gene pull from Maru. Man advantage for Reply Totem, and it's not an easy situation for them. Rafa goes for the jump in, but he doesn't even get one, leaving Ale in a 1 versus 3, and more likely than not, another round here going the way of Totem.
SSJ is going to pick up that super before he falls, though. Good stuff. He didn't want to use the gadget, so he tried to farm up his super the good old-fashioned way, but wasn't able to do so. It was good that he was able to recover that at the end, because it's going to be crucial in locking down the lane early game, but still, this is what we get to see. Yep, Gene counter sprout when he has a super. SSJ has to be so careful about pushing up. He can throw it down once again, but it's probably going to be in the same position. He simply can't get close to Maru, because he's going to get pulled through any lane. But here's the split off. And we'll see these mines go down once again. I really hope they don't fall for tripwire this time, because that hurt just a little to watch last time. It's pretty much saying, you shall not pass, right? You will not walk past this mid. You're not tripping these mines. I get to decide when these go off. And Team Queso more or less stay in the exact same position. And once they're forced in by that poison, it's going to be a free pull for Maru. The question is, who is he going to combo with? Because it's probably going to be Joker, so he needs to stay on good high health as well.
Yeah, a bit more stalemate again, as Maru has been sitting on his bull for this entire round. Hasn't really had the chance to use it just yet. Ale placing down the wall. Again, not going to give the most control, because if anyone gets too close to it, they're going to get pulled. Joker, though, takes a lot of damage, goes for the super, gets a lot of connections, gets one kill, does go down, but Rafa jumps into the gas, and this is going to be Reply Totem to take the round game and set here. Now taking over the lead in this match.
I feel like the momentum was seriously felt there by Team Queso. Now in the stats, it was actually quite even. The Reply Totem did heal up a lot more health. They stayed at a distance. They knew exactly what they needed to do. Team Queso had a real hard time pushing in as well, at times pretty much being stuck in the same place. But in terms of pressure, you can see it in the gameplay. The Bonnie jump in right into the poison was very quick reactions, and also perhaps, well, I mean, it was a reflex, right? There's not a whole lot of the processing put into it. It was simply a reflex. Unfortunate that he went into the gas, but those mistakes cost you a whole lot. You can't afford to make those here, not versus Reply Totem, when it's going to be really close no matter how you put it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm assuming he was trying to get the quick kill onto the bow, but yeah, he jumped a little far into the gas. It was, I mean, he took like, I think 2 ticks of damage. That's way too much when you're playing Bunny. That's half your health just off the gas, you know, and some missed opportunities here from Team Queso. I mean, honestly, I feel like they choked a little bit, to be completely honest. They had multiple opportunities where they could kind of have made it work and secure that set, and multiple times they just, yeah, missed out on those opportunities, and at times even like gave up some away for free, and free opportunities for Totem to actually take those games.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. I wonder how they're going to be able to take it back in the next set, though.
The thing for me is, like, I feel like Team Kids have opened the door too much to Reply Totem now. Like, they had such a great opportunity that I thought that they were going to take that 2-0 in terms of Brawl Ball, but now they've opened the doors, and Reply Totem are now sort of to rearrange the furniture. And the problem as well, I think Team Queso have is that Reply Totem are demonstrating what they do so well, and that is to keep surprising the opposition. Bringing in Tripwire today was such a smart little play, and it's a tiny thing at that, but we've seen so much of the Super Totem gadget being used over the time for Bo, as Bo's been pushed into the forefront of the meta now. Like, that's the only gadget we ever see. So doing that is something so small and slight, but it makes Team Queso just completely like flustered and sort of off focus, and that's exactly what Reply Totem was so good at doing, is just bringing in small ideas and really causing a ruckus with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even just Tripwire, or I don't think it is just Tripwire. Obviously, Reply Totem played fantastically mechanically, but when you're able to take your enemy out of their element, when you're able to interrupt that momentum at all, that's a prime opportunity, and it's a great idea to pull out Tripwire of all things, because yes, you're going to be able to generate something off of it, right? It's profitable, but also because Super Totem wouldn't have been that great for them there. And we've seen this already today with some Rocket Laces action. We'll see if there are any alternate gadgets run here. Bonnie got her next gadget recently, but I don't know how valuable it's going to be here on Dueling Beetles. Already a Janet and a Penny pickup for Team Queso, and also a double Leon ban, as well as a Sprout ban for Reply Totem.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Penny. I think it does all right on Dueling Beetles. I mean, it's one of our more iconic maps in the first place, right? But with her being quite a good place at the moment, it makes a lot of sense to go for it quite early on in the draft. Yeah, heavy hitters, I think, on this map, like the Squeak or the Sprout, the Carl out of the mix. I like that a lot. I think that overall, so far, from the looks of it, we have a fairly even draft, and some good opportunities for both sides to hit hard.
Well, I'm liking the stew. It's definitely going to be great for occupying mid. We've seen this played before exactly this way on this exact same map by Reply Totem. They simply put usually Joker on Stu at mid, have him dodge out as much as he possibly can, have him run gas to heal, so he's healing up with every single shot that he turns into a super and uses it, and he pretty much ducks, bobs, and weaves onto and off of that point to get one little percentage at a time. But as long as you're able to hold back the enemy the entire time, it is a job well done. As long also as it stays, the turret from Penny stays safe, or it's denied. Similar range here between Ale SSJ and Mary, and Mary is a whole lot slower, but with the speed zone, he's going to be able to compete toe-to-toe with Ale SSJ. Joker doing the same old thing, once again, dodge in and out of mid, bait out some of those shots, and when he senses a good opportunity, pinch, flex onto that lane with one of his teammates. He's doing a fantastic job. For some reason, he's going to go in deep, but he's not going to have to pay the price. That shot from Black Sea almost hit, and Joker stays alive. This is insane. He did not need to do that.
Yeah, auto-aim did him dirty, because he had that kill secured, but because the Penny was in the bush, it auto-aimed the other side. So he got a little bit unlucky there, but he still managed to somehow make it work. A little luck on his side, I guess. All right, well, so far, this is a stomp and a half here from Reply Totem, with a 55% lead and still counting, as Ale SSJ at last has his turret, but it's a little late for that Impact Brawler to have impact. I mean, better late than never, but so far it's not translated in really any percentages going their way.
It's going to be tough for Joker to survive here, or maybe even more so for Maori. As long as the speed zone stays up, they're basically going to be untouchable by the turret, but it is going to influence where they position themselves. It's going to make the shots a little easier to lead in pre-fire, though this has been a dominant game for Reply Totem through and through. They dealt so gracefully with the placement of that Penny turret. They didn't even really need to take it down. Maori just decided, yeah, we're going to win, yeah, and I can go for this really, really risky play. It's a match point coming in as well for Reply Totem. Total domination so far.
Yeah, it kind of feels like the first set or two, you know. Reply Totem, maybe they just woke up, you know. We're still half asleep. Call time for them was like, I don't know, 9 p.m. Now it seems like they're really more in it, you know, and fully awake. But that was a very dominant first game, and I mean, from the looks of it, they're not slowing down anytime soon. Let's see, though, if Team Queso can find some opportunities to finally shut them down.
Well, Blacksea on the right side is going to be hanging on here. Joker also at mid, doing the same thing as usual. And he's going to get targeted by LSJ pretty hard, but as long as he's able to shift one tile away, he's able to dodge out a shot, and that's really all you need. Maori also takes a very aggressive position. Blacksea all marked up on the right side and outranged by the Bell. He's going to need some movement. Here comes the Super 2 to try and deal some damage to Maori. That's one shot connecting. Need another. Maori goes very, very aggressive, but with all the eyes on him, Joker's able to pick up that much more control. Rafa has not been able to connect a shot onto Joker. There's the first one and the takedown as well. It just shows that every single time Joker dodges, that's a brush with death. He can only really take 1 or 2 shots here at mid because as he's dashing around, he's very, very frail. Already a shot that he takes 1, 2, another one. Blacksea almost takes him down, and Joker doesn't have a super. Rafa needs to keep on firing down mid to make sure that he gets some control. Joker does get taken down once again, and as long as Joker was out of rotation, Team Queso picked a lot of control up, and now they're even going to match the percentage captured already. 1:30 on the clock, but Team Queso are trying to close this one out fast, unless Reply Totem are able to assume control once again, especially as Joker fires off these supers.
Yeah, Joker doing Joker things again in the mid, and I feel like that's really keeping Reply Totem in this one, overtaking the lead once more. Mark connects onto Rafa, and what seemed like a great comeback from Team Queso might just get shut down at the worst moment possible for them, as Reply Totem almost at that 90% will get past 90% now. Maori does go down, but Joker is going to be the one to close it out, and at this point he'll take the game and set and match as Team Queso. I feel like this was their chance to take down Reply Totem today, but Reply Totem slowly but surely woke up, started playing better and better, and by the time we got to that third, fourth set, they were, back in their regular form.
Unfortunate situation for Team Queso. They had to face versus the kings of the region, and Reply Totem definitely made them kneel. Very well done here by Reply Totem for taking down Team Queso, but it was not an easy journey. They sort of had to warm up at first, but maybe it just kind of looked that way because of the way that we frame how Reply Totem performs in this region, in this competition as well specifically, because Team Queso took some dominant games over them. They were simply fired back even stronger, and a set was taken afterwards.
Yeah, this is a good point, Reddy, and something that I think is worth mentioning as well is that, we don't think any of the teams that qualify for these stages are bad. It's just that sometimes, teams set up really high expectations because we know what they are capable of, we know how good they are, and so when they underperform, we notice that they underperform. But that doesn't mean they're bad by any means. I mean, Reply Totem, despite this not being their best performance, arguably one of their worst performances in a long time, they still managed to take the win here over Team Queso that had their chances here and there. Also, in my opinion, Team Queso, they kind of inconsistent in this match. They had some moments where I was like, this is great. This is exactly what I'm expecting from them. And then other moments where I felt like they kind of had it and choked. A tough matchup for them for sure.
Yeah, it was, like I said, like you said actually, for me, one of Reply Totem's worst days, but that's the thing. When you can qualify for a finals, it just goes to show how well they are performing in this region, and massive congratulations to them as the first team to do so in the Snapdragon Pro Series of Brawl Stars. So other teams now are going to scrap over the final remaining 3 places because they've already locked in 1.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy when you think about it. They have nearly a perfect run so far in this season, dropped 3 sets so far, which is kind of ridiculous stuff to think about. But yeah, it's one less spot available for the other teams, and especially for the team sitting on the bottom of the bracket at the moment, it's kind of a scary prospect for the rest of the season. There's plenty of teams that are still very much in the running, and none that we can definitely call out of the running just yet.
Well, it's been a very intense day 5 here, and again, let us know over on the socials using the hashtag Snapdragon Pro Series how you found things so far today. And once more, gotta give one final massive shout out to the to Snapdragon Elite Gaming, because again, for us to be here to watch these teams perform in the way that they are in this competition, it's a delight, honestly, to see and to bring that kind of caliber of organization and teams to go head to head. You love to see it, really.
It's absolutely spectacular to see, and it's wonderful to be part of as well. It's great that we get to see some of the number one players in the region as well make it up here on the big stage and perform so well. Even some of the people who are a little bit lower in the rankings in this particular competition are so good. And it's fantastic that we get to see all of them play against each other in a round-robin style competition.
Yeah, it's, incredible to see the journey as well of a lot of these teams, and some that we've never seen go head-to-head in the Snapdragon Pro Series, and others that have had a lot of back-and-forth rivalries throughout the splits. And when we have teams at this level doing their thing, it resonates throughout the esports scene, and we tend to get a little bit of a glimpse of what we can see in other third-party events as well. But Reply Totem, Teddy, what a day for them today.
Yeah, it wasn't their best showing, but it just says how good they are, that even on an off day, they can look this good. It's really impressive. And yeah, Team Keizo, they had some nice attempts, just couldn't quite make it. Reply Totem, they are qualified already. And that's just, a lot of stress that will be avoided, because the rest of the season, it's gonna be a challenge for those teams, especially the ones on 3 and 6 points. They have no room for mistakes whatsoever.
And look at how the leaderboard has shifted, really. Like, so much has now changed, but some things have not. Baguette still down the bottom, but talk us through today and how that's affected things.
Of course, Reply Totem staying on top, and congratulations to them. They'll be qualifying for the next stage. Tribe Gaming EU having a great day. Same deal for SK as well. Team Queso taking a loss, but here's the deal. Look at that score difference. They narrowly sit above FA Siege with the exact same record. 2 wins, 3 losses, 7 set wins, 11 set losses. It was absolutely crucial that Team Queso got that 1 set victory to keep themselves afloat, because FA Siege had their eyes on that spot. But we do see it used to be the bottom 4, now it's the bottom 3, all staying relatively tied on their match score. It goes to show just how well matched some of these teams are, how a lot of them are at the same level, and that, at the end of the day, is the definition of competitiveness.
And the scary thing is, for me, Teddy, like the Team Kessler and FSH, they're going to be having continued scraps throughout, and depending upon their matchups, we'll see later on how they're going to fare. But there's still a possibility, I feel. Like, if everything goes wrong for everyone else and everything goes right for those bottom 3, there's still an open door. I mean, it's a slim chance, let's be honest, but there's still that potential there for an upset.
Oh, definitely so. I mean, honestly, anything is possible still. Obviously, some, some outcomes are more likely than others. I mean, Tribe SK just looking really good. But, for some teams that still have to face Totem, they might take a little easier now that they're qualified. They're not going to be... I mean, they're still going to try to win for seeding and honor, but they might not be as focused as if everything is on the line, And that's quite important as well, because it could open some things up, and there's just plenty of different scenarios depending on the head-to-heads and whatever not that is going to come into play for the rest of the season. And I'm pretty sure that until the last day, they're still going to be playing for at least 1 spot, and that is a lot of fun, for sure.
It's a really valid point. A lot of teams do it. You've done all the hard work. Put your feet up a little bit. Obviously they still give it your shot, but ultimately, I mean, the hard work for Reply Totem is done in day 5. 1 team has secured their place now in the Snapdragon Pro Series Finals, but we're still on the search to find 3 more. Day 6 still to come tomorrow. Make sure you join us from 6:45 p.m. CEST for that. Until then, from myself, from Ready Set, from Teddy, it's goodbye for now.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming, Monster Energy, and DHL.